So lovely. Lovely. Yes, Sana gave that word 3 syllables. What's up, everyone? It's Nate from Truly Daebak, and we are doing DaebakCast episode 119. We're back from Korea, so if you noticed, we didn't have an episode last week, and we had a kind of weird, short, disjointed episode the week before, because we were recording in Korea and didn't really have any editing abilities or anything, so we just kind of uploaded video directly. And then when we were in Japan and stuff and getting back, we didn't really have time or a good way to record, so we skipped that week. But we're back this week without Jacob because it's hard to get Jacob to record. And we left him there.
Yeah, we left him in Japan. Sorry. Sorry, Jacob's mom.
That's true. He stayed an extra day or two after we were there.
Yeah.
We're back on our normal schedule for now. If you don't know what DaebakCast is, or Truly Daebak, we do a weekly podcast where we talk about K-pop and Korean culture, or like entertainment culture. Usually there's 3 of us. Right now there's only 2 of us because our other member Jacob is studying abroad in Korea. But he'll be back in a couple months, back to being on more regularly. And as always, I'm Nate. As always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has 3 things.
Number 1, to the delight of Nathan Swishers everywhere in the world, EXID might be disbanding? Have you gotten any firm confirmation on what's going on?
Yeah, well, they're doing the whole thing that every group now does, where they're like, "Oh, we're leaving the company, but the group's still gonna be around, and we'll still do comebacks." It will. When it happens, I'll believe it.
Oh, I mean, I heard the rumors of them not being happy with Banana Culture, the group, and possibly leaving and continuing EXID. But I mean, with them not re-signing as a group, I don't know. But the thing is, though, what's the point? I believe it was Ellie, it was Hani and Jungwoo that didn't re-sign their contracts, and Soji, Ellie, and Hyerin all signed again with Banana Culture. So the thing is, though, I don't understand why they'd re-sign with Banana Culture if they had no plans for them otherwise, unless they're just gonna all do solo stuff. So I really don't know what's going on with the group, in all honesty, and I hope they don't disband. As iffy as I've been on some of their singles, I still love EXID, so it sucked to see them disband, especially after how much success they've had so far. So I guess developing story will follow in the weeks following. Number 2, Avengers Endgame has just been destroying the freaking box office, basically. I think in the US it beat because I think it beat the highest grossing opening weekend by over 100 million, which was insane. I've already watched it twice. I think I'm gonna watch it again sometime later in the week. But so I'm definitely contributing to that grossing. We'll talk about it a bit later because that's actually part of our Korea trip. So just wanted to mention that. Going from good movies to not so good movies. Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh Lord. Wow, what a trailer. Wow. I don't even watch it. I don't even know how to begin to explain this Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. So for those of you that haven't watched, I mean, you can go watch it on YouTube, but one, Sonic looks so weird. There's something wrong with his face. It looks so bad. And for whatever reason, they decide to use the song Gangsta's Paradise as the music for.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they use They use this an arrangement of Gangsta's Paradise for this Sonic the Hedgehog. That's obviously the first thing you think of when you think Sonic the Hedgehog, freaking Gangsta's Paradise.
Yes.
And Jim Carrey's just being Jim Carrey, even though he's supposed to be Dr. Eggman. And for some reason, they kind of spoil at the end, because his Eggman character doesn't look like what we think of when we think of Dr. Eggman or whatever. But at the end, there's this glitchy thing, and you see him with the bald head and the huge mustache and the goggles, and apparently the rumor is that that's actually from an ending, like an after credit scene trying to set up the Sonic cinematic universe. I shit you not. That's actually, they're actually trying to make this into like a franchise type thing or whatever. So, yeah, the internet backlash was harsh to say the least, and the director was like, "Yeah, we know we fucked up, so we're gonna fix it all," which I guess is kind of like refreshing in terms of honesty. But who knows how much they'll actually be able to fix?
I doubt they can.
Because like this movie's definitely. I'm pretty sure it's getting released this year, so we'll see how much they can fix. But wow, it's just been a wild roller coaster. Basically, like just like the poor Sonic fandom has just been suffering, and then they just kicked them while they were down. So we'll see if they can recover it by any means. So those are three things. Just I guess some programming notes. Well, now we're getting back in the swing of things. Produce X101 is now airing, so in a few weeks, once that first round of eliminations is done, I think we're gonna get to do our first full-on episode of or the first episode covering Produce X101. I haven't had a chance to watch any of it yet. I think episode 0 has subs out. Episode 1 kind of has bad subs out, so I'll wait for that to finish. But yeah, be on the lookout for that soon. Also, some people I think it was Reach 10 on our Discord was like, "Oh wow!" I was just like, he was looking for us on SoundCloud, but didn't realize that we had left. Yeah, that for anyone that's using it. Yeah, for anyone that's catching us on YouTube or whatever, or is normally an audio listener, we are off SoundCloud entirely. We've made the switch to a different hosting service, which is why you can only find us on iTunes and Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, those sort of things. So yeah, we're completely off SoundCloud for the time being. So yeah, just make your switch now if you haven't already.
Okay. I think that's it. Like usual, if you like the episode, like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, review us on iTunes and stuff. And then of course, if you want to hang out with us, talk to us, hang out with our community, could join our Discord. It's mucho lit, as we like to say. There's a good community of people there that are talking regularly, so more people are always welcome. And we do fun stuff like song ratings, and I'm gonna ban the whole server soon, so that'll be fun.
For the IOI rating.
Yeah, it's due next week, so get in and do the IOI rating so I can ban you. So yeah, we'll move on to topic 1, which is our one review this week, and it is Twice's Fancy You mini album. We're a little late on this review because, like I said, we didn't do any episodes or anything.
We were in Korea when this thing dropped.
Yeah, we were in Korea when it came out, so we got to buy it on release day.
That was
add to the.
That was kind
charts.
of a weird experience, like, because I think I forget when we got home from or whatever. I think we got home from like walking around like Hongdae or something like that. And then I took a nap. I wake up and you're like, "Oh, Twice is out." I'm just like, "Wow, this is weird." Like having music videos come out at like in the evening, because I'm so used to waking up in the morning and then just checking up like whatever music videos, because it usually just drops at that time. So like that was a pretty interesting experience. Just to mention, but anyway.
Yeah. We'll start off with the first song on the album, which is the single titled Fancy. And so with the teasers and stuff coming into this, like they talked about how like Twice was finally changing up their concept and stuff, which they've told us before and lied.
Yeah.
So
I at this point
weren't sure.
Yeah, at this point I'm just like, it's just Boy Who Cried Wolf. They're like, they're gonna completely change the Twice concept. I'm like, yeah, that's what you said before.
Yeah. And I think for this song they definitely did a bit. 100% in concept they changed it up, and then I would say like partially in the music. I think the verses are very different, but the chorus still has that like Twice like signature sound. It's still the upbeat like Twice chorus that you kind of expect, just with a little differences, but the verses are like very different than what we're used to. I think the instrumentals in the song are really good. I really like that synth melody line in the verses. It's like really catchy, and it's like kind of a unique synth that we don't really hear a lot. And then yeah, like I said, the chorus is still very Twice. It picks up and has that upbeat style that you'd expect. But overall, I think the song's great. I know a lot of people haven't been liking stuff that they've been doing recently for singles. I've never, like, I still like Twice. Like, even before this song, like, I never really had a problem with the stuff they were doing. I enjoy most of what they do, including their B-sides, which I know a lot of people also don't like. But I think this was really cool to see. It's definitely nice to hear a switch up, and them doing it really well. As for the music video, I love the aesthetic. It's very similar to the Boots, which is our music video of the year.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Truly
Daebak's 2018 music video of the year. Goo Goo Dolls, the Boots. But yeah, those are very similar with like the use of color and like that weird like neon cyberpunk aesthetic with like the black outfits. But then they have like a nice switch up with like the really colorful, almost like 70s hippie style like outfits. So it's a nice change up. And I thought the choreography is really fun. It's memorable. It's not like super technical, but it has some really like memorable parts, and it fits Twice well, and it fits the song well.
So as someone that's been sort of burned or just been like scorned by Twice singles over the years at this point, and I've just been like every single time I'm just like I'm getting my hopes up, or I'm just like, this will be the single where they truly change it up. This will be the single that they'll do their. Again, that's sort of been my talking point for the past year or so. Is I'm waiting for Twice's "Run Devil Run" moment, essentially, and I think this is probably the closest we're gonna get to a Twice "Run Devil Run" moment, at least for the time being. So, I guess just to start off in terms of my thoughts, this is produced by Black Eyed Pilsung, aka the person that's worked on almost every single one of their like major singles, like Ooh Ah, TT, Likey, Cheer Up. So at this point, like right now, it's impossible. Yeah, pretty close to impossible for anyone to beat Black Eyed Pilsung for producer of the year. At least I think that, because this year we've gotten, they did Ung Ung by A-Pink, they did Gotta Go by Chang'e, and then they produced Fancy by Twice. Like, those are probably three of my favorite songs of the entire year so far. So for them to just pull, like, the sheer quality of songs that they've been putting out this year is insane. And we're only less than halfway through the year, and they've put out that much good songs already. It's insane. I think the funniest thing specifically is Black Eyed Pilsung was kind of they were kind of the geniuses behind what we call like the Twice sound. Again, like I mentioned before, they're sort of the brains behind their most iconic songs, like Ooh Ah, Cheer Up, Likey, TT, those sort of things. And yet they're also the ones that are pushing forward what Twice's sound is, or what the group's sort of image is in sort of a way. Because I mean, between Fancy and Likey, again, they're just the one. They're always the ones pushing it forward. Again, I just find it ironic that sort of whenever they go to other, whenever JYP goes to other producers, they always fall back into whatever Black Eyed Pilsung sort of made to make Twice famous. But again, Black Eyed Pilsung is always the one pushing the envelope. And I really, again, as someone that hates stagnation, or as someone that really appreciates when groups push forward their sound, I think that's why I'm a big fan of what Black Eyed Pilsung has been doing with Twice. So in terms of the song, like, the instrumental is dangerously catchy. I have not been able to stop listening to this for the past 2 weeks. Like, pretty much when I was like falling asleep on the plane, I just put like this song on repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I still haven't gotten sick of it, which says something, specifically particularly because I usually get sick of Twice songs like pretty fast, like even the ones I like. And yeah, it's very rare for me to do that with songs. Again, like, despite like Black Eyed Pilsung's like sort of thing is they make catchy music, or they make catchy hooks, but again, this isn't something that I feel would get old or get tiring on me. I I'd say some of the good positives that they did with this song, or in terms of how they worked around the members, is, well, one, I'm liking this trend of Junghyun getting way more lines than before. Like she has like entire sections of the verse in this song. Yeah. Whereas she'd barely get any lines. Like she'd maybe get like one or two in previous Twice singles, so that's a good thing. I think probably the only minor gripe I have with this song is, and I hate, as much as I hate to say it because I love Sana, but like the part with the pre-chorus where it's like do 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 ice cream chaka do do do, like that just seems a bit too cliche of Twice for me. But I mean, it's just that one part basically.
Yeah, for me it sounds almost like J-poppy. Like it just doesn't really fit. Like I could hear that in a J-pop song, like that part.
It's like
and it just doesn't fit with the rest of the song.
Yeah, compared to how the rest of the song sounds, it definitely like it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in that way. But I mean, that's just kind of a minor gripe at the end of the day, because I feel like it doesn't ruin the song for me entirely. Nate, where'd you go? Oh, okay. I thought I lost you for a second. Anyway, the chorus is probably one of the best choruses I've heard all year. In all honesty, again, it's that perfect blend of catchy, perfect blend of, it's definitely something I've never heard from before, especially from a group like Twice. That blend of catchy and unique is it's like the holy grail that I'm looking for in K-pop, and it's something I rarely get. So, which is probably why I enjoy it a lot. And again, even how they sort of utilize the things that can fall so easily into tropes, like your typical Dubu Chaeyoung rap verse doesn't sound like they could have. Sometimes it just sounds so copy paste between songs, like what they do with them. But here they're actually letting them do vocal parts. They're actually doing something a lot more interesting. I know, like, it's kind of become a trope that, like Twice singles have some like random like trap instrumentals at some point, but this one I think it's okay. It works with the song. Kind of like how like Gotta Go has some trap instrumentals in it. So man, just I don't even know where to continue with this song in terms of just like the music. I just really loved it. Like in terms of visuals, like this might be Twice's best concept, like to date. Like I think it blows everything else that they've done out of the water, because I feel like I've always liked their outfits and like their concepts for the most part, but so often like the visual concept doesn't really match with like the music that they'd put out. That's what my biggest gripe was. And now that they're doing more of a mature sound, I feel like it's finally like the visual concept and the songs are finally matching each other, and I think that's what makes it stand out a lot more, because you finally get that cohesion that I've been waiting for years, essentially. Because I mean, their outfits aren't anything too different than what they've done before. It's just, again, finally matching that concept is what brings it out more. Like specifically for me, I think like people like Mina, Momo, Junghyun, and Chaeyoung stood out with their outfits. Friggin' Mina's sort of dressed with like the sort of like strings that are holding it together. Junghyun sort of like that one like neon yellow shirt that she has that has like basically looks like friggin' like Randy Savage wings or whatever, just like some really like elaborate type of thing. Chaeyoung has this one outfit where it's like got a halter top and like bell bottom pants, but it's got this like neon like gingham pattern on it. Momo's outfit is incredible. Just I really, again, I'm finally glad that they're able to sort of build that cohesion into it. So I really appreciate that a lot more. And then as for the choreography, again, I know Twice isn't obviously like the best in terms of dancing groups outside of, or in terms of dances among girl groups outside of like Momo, but all I really want from Twice singles is the choreography serves a purpose, and I think they accomplished that with this. It fits the song, and it's nothing just like too basic, which I feel like has been a sort of detriment to a lot of the choreography before. It's just where sometimes they don't do anything. Where in this one, they're definitely active. It's definitely upbeat and fits the type of song that they're doing. And specifically, the choreography they do is memorable. Like the fancy, like where they do that part like that. That's definitely memorable. Or there's one part where they do like a move from like I Am the Best, like this. Like, I don't know if you remember the choreography from I Am the Best, but there's a move that they take exactly from it. So I do, as a fan of that song, I do appreciate that. It's not the most the craziest Twice choreography, but I feel like, again, it fits the song perfectly. So I feel like that's why it's been some of the most effective choreography that they've done in a while. Yeah. So just seriously, this is probably a top 3 Twice song for me. In all honesty, I'm rating it that high just because I feel like maybe going in I didn't have any expectations just because I've been burned so much by Twice, but this blew away all of my expectations. And yeah, now the single that follows is up is definitely going to have, it's going to be a tough act to follow, in all honesty, just because I don't know if they're going to be able to recapture I guess the feeling or just like the time and place that this was in. But it's definitely gotten me a lot more reinvigorated in Twice than I was for the past year.
Yeah. Jacob said, just a sec. Right from the get-go, I love this track. This is the kind of incremental progression that I want to hear and see with Twice's music and concepts respectively. While yes, it does indeed still sound like Twice, I think that this song treads just enough new territory to keep older fans pleased and also bring in people from outside looking for fresher offerings from Twice. The chorus is infectious, punchy, and so catchy it'll be stuck in your head for days. The music video is exactly the type of thing I wanted to see Twice cover, and they showed, just as everyone suspected, that they could totally pull off a more mature and cool concept without having to be sexy. I think this track and concept were totally a step in the right direction, so here's to hoping we keep pushing forward. Yep. Next we have Stuck in My Head. I thought this song starts out very intensely, and drops into like a pretty awesome hardcore beat. I did have an issue with the like weird distorted sax sounds they use for the instrumentals. It's just like, it just doesn't sound pleasing, if that makes sense. Like it just sounds like weird and off. And they use that a lot. It basically
sounds like somebody's fucking around on like their keyboard. It's like, what sound effects should we use for this song?
Like it just doesn't sound great. But overall, I think the build of the chorus like tones the song down in a really good way, and the chorus is good, and the fact that they bring in like more instrumentals and stuff like kind of make that sax part less of a problem because there's just more going on. I do think the chorus repeats a little too much though. I don't know. I think overall this is like one of the weaker songs on the album.
Yeah.
I just had a couple issues with it. Like, it's not a horrible song, but it's definitely one of the weaker ones.
I mean, I know what they're going for because the song is literally called Stuck in My Head, but I feel like you could do a bit more of an interesting approach lyrically than just repeating "stuck in my head," like stuck in. Like, after a certain point, it's just gonna get annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd probably be like I'd say that'd probably be like my only gripe with the song is just like I guess the quality drop off between Fancy and then this was kind of abrupt in my eyes, but it wasn't too horrible. Or that'd probably be the only gripe is just the lack of, I guess, just interesting lyrical approach.
Yep. Jacob said, a really solid B-side from Twice. Spoiler alert, the sentiment carries through most of the mini-album. The chorus is really repetitive, but it doesn't go overboard and treads the line decently to stay on the side of catchy and not annoying. I really like the way the instrumental clears up in the build-up to the chorus. The overall style reminds me maybe of Red Velvet's The Red Album with tracks like Huff and Puff. Also, shout out to Chaeyoung's rap in the song. I enjoyed it, though I could see if some people maybe think her tone is annoying. I like it nonetheless.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying.
I didn't mind it. I do agree that I think the build up to in the pre-chorus, or like the way the instrumentals clear out in the pre-chorus, is probably the best part of the song in my opinion. Probably because I thought the instrumentals were a little annoying, but okay. We'll move on to Girls Like Us. And I love the bouncing piano like through this whole song. And the like echoey and dreamy vocals they use throughout. I think it mixes really well with the more minimalist instrumentals. I think the chorus is a little busy, but I think, like, especially compared to how minimalist the rest of the song is, it kind of goes a little overboard, in my opinion. But I think the rest of the song is fantastic and makes up for it. It's got almost like an indie pop vibe, which is like something you don't really hear in K-pop very often. So I liked this song.
that indie pop vibe is courtesy of the producer, Charlie XCX. Not even joking. Charlie XCX is the one that produced this song, which the second I heard that, this song immediately clicked for me, both because one, like, Charlie definitely has a specific sound that she's going after in her music, definitely that indie pop type of, like, EDM type of thing. And I feel like that's an awesome collaboration for one, and I feel like they work, like, Twice definitely has a similar type of vibe, or they fit well with that production style, so I think that this would make this song stand out a lot more. Jihyo also contributed to the writing the lyrics, so that's actually pretty cool. I think for the rest of these songs, at least one member contributed to the songwriting, so yeah, this would probably be my favorite of the album tracks, in all honesty, just because I feel like, again, that collaboration aspect, and I feel like it succeeded in, like, the type of sound that they're going after, and I feel, I'm usually one that's bored by Twice B-sides, and, like, that's kind of the case here in some with some of them, but I feel like if they could dip their toes into, like, more of these type of indie pop type sounds, I feel like I would find them more interesting than what they usually do.
Jacob said, the song really stood out to me because it isn't a style of song you'd usually find in K-pop. It sounds a lot like the type of songs you find in alternative or indie pop charts in the US. The small beat breakdown before the chorus as well as the chorus are really catchy and is definitely prone to be stuck in your head, as is the common theme with many Twice songs. In this song, in contrast to the last track, Dahyun's rap really stood out to me rather than Chaeyoung's. Overall, really love this track. Next we have Hot, and I love the funk pop style used for the song. I love when we hear, like, acapella instrumental parts in K-pop, and it's got that, like, acapella bass line going throughout the song. I really like how fast and catchy the vocal parts are in the song, like during the chorus. Then it, like, slows down for the pre-chorus bridge. It's just, like, the lyrics are, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's just, like, technically, like, faster, and, like, it's not like rapping, but it's got that kind of, like, feel to it, because it's their spoken, or, like, their singing lines are, like, very fast. I think the pre-chorus is really fun, like, catchy instrumental focus. And I love the added use. Actually, I think I meant chorus. The chorus is, like, really fun. I like the added use of trumpet and, like, other new sounds throughout. Definitely one of my favorites.
This is basically the first thing I said when I listened to the song. I was like, "Wow, Twice just basically did their own version of Uptown Funk." So I was kind of laughing at that.
Yeah, basically.
I did enjoy this song, but, like, it was kind of made redundant by the one that came after it in terms of that, like, funky.
I think the next one's better.
Yeah, it just kind of, it definitely sort of didn't do as well in terms of, like, that funky, like, bassline driven sound. So yeah, I didn't have much to say about this, just because I ended up liking the next one better.
Jacob said, the beat drop during the chorus in the song is catchy as fuck. The punchy deep bass throughout the song keeps it nice and bouncy until the instrumentals clean up for the build-up to eventually slam down into the chorus drop. The song is super fun, is definitely among some of Twice's best B-sides, which is definitely a general theme on this album for me. I also appreciated the use of ad-libs throughout the song, as it's not something that Twice is typically known for traditionally.
Oh, and Momo wrote the lyrics for Hot.
Okay. Next we have Turn It Up. Like you said, this is another more, like, funky song. I thought it had a nice fake out at the beginning, making you think it's, like, an acoustic pop ballad, and then it drops with, like, a really funky bass line. I think the instrumentals in the song are probably the best on the album, with, like, the bass line, the guitar, and there's some brass popping in here and there. It's just a super upbeat, like, fun, funky song. And I thought the rap part in the song was amazing too. This is definitely my favorite on the album.
Yeah, I guess I mentioned before, this one kind of made Hot redundant, so I didn't end up enjoying that previous song as much as I enjoyed this. This was produced by Ear Attack, who I've heard the name before a lot. Sana did the lyrics for this song, so yeah, again, I just really liked. Also, just like the chorus or drop or whatever, I felt like was a lot more interesting than what they did on Hot. So, yeah, the two songs kind of made one another redundant. Or Turn It Up definitely made Hot redundant. Also, again, like I was mentioning before, like the fact that Junghyun's getting way more lyrics in the song as of late. Like she has an entire section of the chorus in this song, which is again awesome to see. Also, again, I feel like in terms of like the rap verses, I feel like they do it a lot better on this one than they do on Hot. So yeah. Just because again, like they do get pretty formulaic with how they used Dubu and Chaeyoung in terms of like the rap verses, but I feel like this one they definitely tried to make it a bit more interesting. So
yeah. Jacob said, another really fun song. The bass line is awesome. It gives the track a really nice bouncy feel you could easily dance to. The chorus is definitely effective as well, and once again, the rap line really turns out well. Next, we have the final song in the album, Strawberry. And I think this is another song. This has a bit of like an indie acoustic pop vibe. I really like the chop, like synths used for the instrumentals. And I like that since we don't really get a ballad, the vocals get a showcase for the song. And during the bridge, all the instrumentals cut out, and it's just the vocals and like a tiny bit of guitar, because I think Twice gets a bad rap for their vocals when they don't have bad vocals. I think they just don't have
enough.
The song, most of their songs, huh?
They don't have enough vocalists.
What were you saying? No, I think the majority of the members have good vocals. It's just their songs they are given don't give them the chance to showcase it, where this song does. So, yeah, I enjoyed this.
This one was all right. Like again, it's kind of a like more laid back song than which we got in Girls Like Us or Hot or Turn It Up. I'd place it in like it's above Stuck in My Head, but a bit below those other songs in terms of how much I enjoyed it. But yeah, I do like that vocal focus. I don't think a ballad would have worked on this album. In all honesty, just would have been. Or it would have stuck out like a sore thumb in comparison to like the concept, and two, the other songs that they did on here. So yeah, this wasn't too bad of an ending.
Yeah. Jacob said, probably the weakest song for me, but that's just a testament to how good the mini album is in general, because I actually really enjoy this track as well. The closest artist I can compare the song to would be something like Lim Kim.
I don't see it.
I don't know Lim
Jacob
Kim.
Just wants to name drop Lim Kim because we miss Lim Kim so much.
Okay. So yeah, let's go to our scores now. You have Cooper's, right? Or
yes.
Do I need to read Cooper's too?
No, I have Cooper's.
Okay. For me, I gave it a 6 out of 7 for music. I thought most of the songs were fantastic. Really, it was just stuck in my head that was a little off, that I didn't really enjoy too much. So I just knocked him off 1 point. And then I gave him a full 3 out of 3 for concept, because I thought the concept was fantastic. The music video was great. The choreography was fun. Styling was fantastic. So I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I gave the same score, actually. 3.5 for the single, 2.5 for the album tracks. Again, I feel like this is a top 3 Twice single. I would have liked the album tracks a bit more, but I guess it's fine for what they've put out. Yeah, again, most of the 3 out of 3 for concept, especially just because I feel like this is what I've been waiting for in terms of Twice and their maturation, and there's just like the evolution of their sound and who they are as a group. And I feel like this is we're finally getting evidence of that, which again I've just been railing on for years. Also, this album looks really cool because again JYP's just been on this whole sort of like, it looks like a regular magazine type thing in terms of their
all
packaging.
Their recent albums.
Yeah,
because all of Stray Kids albums.
Yeah, all of Stray Kids. Yeah, basically. So we picked these up in Korea. I wanted this one just because I like the reflective type of thing. But again, just I love the visual sort of style that they're going with this. So yeah, I feel this has me a lot more optimistic about Twice in terms of their musical direction than I was going in. Again, as for whether or not they can recapture this feel or catch lightning in a bottle again, I don't know, but I am a lot more optimistic. I'm a lot more hyped for when I see Twice, assuming I can get the tickets next week, because the tickets for the Friday. US tour, go on sale next Friday. So cross my fingers I can see that. I'm Twice is definitely back on my radar. After they were kind of falling off for a bit. So 9 out of 10.
Yep. And Jacob gave them a 6 out of 7 for music, and just a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, so an 8.5 out of 10.
Cooper, he wrote a summary, said, this is easily Twice's best mini album yet. I like every song here, particularly Fancy, Hot, and Strawberry. Fancy is one of their best title tracks. Other than Sana's terrible part, this is pretty much perfect. Yeah, so Cooper has a problem with the same section that we did. All the album tracks are catchy and have a better production than normal. The MV has really cool visual effects, and I like the black set used for the choreography scenes. The dance is pretty solid, better than the previous ones for sure. This is the sound I hope Twice sticks with going forward, still have that classic sound of theirs, but a bit more evolved and more mature. He gives a 6 out of 7 for music, a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, for a total of 8.5 out of 10. So, putting all the numbers into the calculator and doing the math, that's two 8.5s, 2 9s. Yep. It's an average of a 9. It is a truly Daebak album. I never thought I'd give this high of a score to a Twice album again, in all honesty. I just did, because I think the last score I gave was like a friggin' like 7 or 6 after some point, just because I was just done with Twice. But yeah. They pulled it out of the rabbit's hat somehow. So I'm really hyped for this, for them, and it's been doing well. They're definitely getting their wins, despite like BTS sort of coming back at around the same time. So yeah, I think this is a really good direction for them.
Yeah, I agree.
So let us know what your thoughts are on Fancy You. Do you like this new direction that Twice is going in? Do you like the new sort of mature style? Did you like Fancy? Did you like any of the album tracks? Definitely let us know in the comments below.
Yep. And we will move on to topic 2, which is just going to be us talking about our trip to Korea, the Korea part of it.
Yep.
What?
No, I minimized. I was trying to minimize the thing, the slideshow, and
Discord.
I minimized Discord. So whatever.
So yeah, we'll just be talking about our Korea part of our trip. We'll talk about Japan in the next part. So yeah, you want to take it away, or?
I guess I will. Okay. So, well, I mean, what did you do before I got to Korea?
So yeah, I guess I can start because I got there first. So I left on Wednesday, April 17th or something. Let me check. Yeah, the 17th. So I got there on the 18th because was like a 14-hour flight plus a 14-hour time change, or 13-hour time change. So I got there, I left at 2 on Wednesday, and I got there 4 on Thursday. Jacob came to get me at the airport, which was surprising because I didn't think he would actually do that. Because it's like an hour and a half one way just to get to the airport, so he just wasted 3 hours of his day for no reason. But I really appreciated it.
That's the one thing I didn't realize, just how far Incheon Airport is from actual not Seoul.
Not close. So I got there 4. Got through customs and all that, which was really fast actually. There was almost no one there. It only took me maybe 20 minutes to get through immigration and customs. And then I met Jacob. We got on the subway and rode the subway all the way back to my Airbnb. So by the time we got to where our Airbnb was, it was probably 6:30. And I was exhausted, so I was just that's why I felt bad that Jacob came and got me, because I didn't really want to do anything. I just wanted to go to bed. I was exhausted. I didn't even eat dinner. I wasn't even that hungry. I just wanted to sleep. So yeah, we got back, and Jacob just went back to his dorm. I went to the Airbnb and just passed out basically. Then the next day was the 1.5 days we had without you. So I woke up, and every day in Korea, I went to Starbucks for breakfast because there was one down the road, and I needed breakfast food because in Korea, they'll just eat normal food for breakfast, like kimchi stew or whatever, and that's just, I don't know, as someone who needs breakfast food as an American. So I just went to Starbucks, got a bagel or whatever. most of the days, and some coffee. But then Jacob and I met up around lunchtime, or maybe like 10 or 11, and we went over to Shincheon, which is where my school was when I studied abroad, and I kind of showed him around campus. We went to a music store, bought some albums.
He bought some albums.
Some albums. He spent $120 on albums, buying SNSD albums that he didn't have.
Oh my god!
And I spent about $90 on IU albums, so I have all of IU's albums now. Which did we talk about? No, we didn't talk about.
No,
that.
We didn't do an album haul.
No, because we posted pictures of them in Discord. So if you're not on our Discord, you wouldn't have seen that. So I bought a bunch of IU albums, and then we walked around my campus. We went to Lord Sandwich, which is something I had been. So there's a restaurant near where the international dorm is for Yonsei, my school, called Lord Sandwich, and it is possibly one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. It is. It's like one of the best sandwiches I have ever had in my life.
Yep.
So I went there a lot when I was in Seoul, and I was like determined to go back. So we went there and got BLTs because their BLTs are fantastic. They make all their sandwiches on homemade ciabatta bread, which is why it's so good. And it's just got like this funny, weird aesthetic because it's literally called Lord Sandwich, but they have all this like Victorian art on the walls and like stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's fantastic. So we went there for lunch, and what do we do? And then I think we just got Korean barbecue for dinner we just walked around, and then we went back. I think actually, I went back to the Airbnb and just chilled for a little bit, and then we met up for dinner, had Korean barbecue, and walked around his area of Seoul, where he lives. And then the next day we met up again, for like lunchtime. To head over to the airport to get you. And on the way, we tried to get lunch in one area. We stopped at one subway, or like one station, got out, and the entire area was just like
full? Like
bathroom stuff.
Oh.
Like it was like floor, like tile and like toilet. It was just like just selling like bathroom stuff basically to like build out a bathroom. It was a lot of tile and like toilets and sinks and stuff. And we're like, okay, well, there's like no food here. So we went to Ide, which is the stop before Shincheon. So Yonsei is like in Shincheon, and also Ide is a women's university that's also in Shincheon, but it has its own stop. Like Ide is the stop before Shincheon, coming from the east. So we stopped there and we went to this tonkatsu place and got cheese tonkatsu, which was amazing.
I never got to get it.
It was so good. Sad. It was insanely filling, though. I felt horrible after I ate it because there's just so much food. But then, we took the subway to the airport to get Andrew. We picked Andrew up. You got your Wi-Fi thing, and
at first I didn't really recognize that you guys were coming to pick me up because I was so busy. I was so busy and trying to figure out where the hell I was. Because this is my first. I guess just for my part of the story, this is my first time going like to Asia or like leaving my home like this far. So that was an interesting sort of experience, just being on a 14-hour plane ride. Your legs hurt. I mean, Asiana Airlines is nice because I think they had like 33 inches of leg room, but I mean, I have kind of long leg, or like most of my height comes out of my legs, so just like it just hurts no matter what. So you just have to deal with it. I mean, it was pretty enjoyable. They had like the plane had like a lot of like movies or whatever, but I didn't watch any of it because I was just watching anime or just sleeping most of the time. They had like. They served meals, which was nice because I like usually I've been on planes and they just don't serve meals, or they serve 2 meals and the food was all like Korean and stuff, so it was nice. Getting into the airport, it was pretty smooth trying to get through all of the like customs and immigration and stuff. So when I finally get out, like it's weird because I've seen Because I've seen like idols and like famous people that like they wait for them outside of like the arrivals area at Incheon Airport Terminal 1. So it's weird seeing that. I'm just like, oh, that's where they come out from. Like they usually you think it's like a big area, but it's kind of small, and then there's like just like a barrier and where people like wait for, I don't know, like if they're picking someone up. But I never realized that's where like the K-pop idols come through. So that was an interesting experience. Getting used to just Korean money was an interesting sort of thing, just because I had no idea what all the coins meant. Like the bills I could understand for the most part, except for when I'd accidentally hand like a big bill instead of like when I'd accidentally hand like, I don't know, just like because it's 1,000.
I think you handed a 5,000 when you meant to hand a 50,000.
Yeah, I meant to hand a 50,000.
He handed a $5 bill instead of a
$50 bill. Yeah. So it was interesting just getting to our Airbnb, or just getting used to or getting the T money, or just going through the subway system. The subway system there just in general was a lot. One, it's on time, which I'm not used to at all considering New York's like horrible subway system. Two, it's a lot cleaner. Also, like pretty much it's just you're not like, the doors are just, or the actual subway's completely like blocked behind like a glass, like sliding doors and everything, which is when it just kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, like Disney World or something like that, which I'm not used to like on a regular basis, because usually it's just like you see the train and then you just go through, whereas just like in Korea it's just completely blocked off like that. So what did we do on that day? Like I landed on a Saturday, so basically we just got Korean barbecue, which was nice.
Korean barbecue.
I think what shocked me the most was the price, because it was like $25 for like all of us, and we got a decent amount of food, because usually that amount of Korean barbecue would probably be close to like $100 back home. Like, yeah, especially in New York, where they gouge the hell out of you price wise. So we didn't do much other than that day. We went back to the Airbnb. I found I'm sleeping in this like tiny little area where I hit my arm at one point during the middle of the night, just because it's like the ceiling's just like right.
Punched the ceiling.
Yeah,
yeah. We got a loft. It was a lofted apartment, so there was a bed in the main like downstairs, which is where I was, and then there's a loft up top. So it's like just half ceiling type area.
Yeah, it was pretty tiny.
Andrew was sleeping in.
So I mean, we already went through on the next day. We went to the DMZ. So we kind of already talked about that. But afterwards, we went to.
You can watch our episode 18, part 1, or 118, part 1.
Yeah, so we did that. Afterwards, we just went back and just chilled. Or Nate, you took a nap. Jacob and I watched TV. We watched Korean baseball, which was interesting. Just like watching that on the TV. Or the TV they had was like, I guess, just pretty extensive. I didn't realize how many different channels, like because like you know, like the big like 3 or 4 networks, like SBS, NBC, etc., etc., etc. KBS. I didn't realize how many different networks they had. There's like KBS drama, KBS news, like SBS, like they'd have different channels for like different like sort of things. That's so like flipping through all that, or like there was a dedicated channel for like sports, that sort of thing. That's where we're watching baseball on.
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, like we have Fox News and Fox Sports and local Fox and that type of stuff.
We watched some episodes of what was it? What were we watching? I think we watched some just like music. We watched
Eyes 1, 2.
Yeah, we watched Eyes 1, 2.
And we watched Stray Kids.
Yeah, Stray Kids.
I don't know what the name of their show is.
We watched
we watched music show.
Yeah, we watched some music shows. It's weird seeing it on TV, because again we're just used to seeing it on YouTube for most of the time. So I think after that we went to Gwanggwamun, but that was when we couldn't, like everything was closed by then. Yeah, we went at night.
Was it the same day as the team?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, we went.
We went to Gwanggwamun, and just tried to find some dinner and like took pictures. Like, well, yeah, we kind of just like we're gonna take pictures of like the statues and stuff.
But it was dark.
But yeah, everything's like closed and it was dark. So we just tried to find some place to eat. We tried to get fried chicken, and Jacob found a place that was like 4 miles away. Like for some reason,
yeah, we had
apparently
to walk
there was
far.
No good Korean chicken places in Gwanggwamun. So we walked a while. We found one. Got some Korean fried chicken.
I experienced that, like, what was it called again? What did they call it again? Like the macaroni or whatever. Like, basically they just put out.
Oh yeah, it's like cereal. I don't know. Like Korean fried chicken places give you these like, I don't even know what it is. It's just like it's just like cereal. It's like Pops, like corn puff cereal things.
And it's like the snack that you eat before you have your fried chicken.
Yeah, it's just like a snack.
It was just interesting, and I mean, I ate it because I was hungry, but I'm just like, wow, I didn't think that cereal would go well with fried chicken, or that would be a thing. Also, I think in general,
I'm not a huge fan of it.
I mean, I don't mind it because I like cereal, so. Just another thing in general. Oh, the picture came up literally. Like when we were talking, I have a slideshow of my pictures going up, and it just went to the.
Oh, okay.
It just went to the fried chicken was amazing though. Like all the food was amazing. One thing I like about Korea is that.
Well, yeah.
You don't have to call over the server. You just press the button. You just hit the button, and then they just come over.
Yeah, they have buttons, so they just have like little doorbell buttons that you just ring, to get you to, so you don't have to just yell across the restaurant or. Wait for the server to show up like you do here in the US. Korean food's definitely one of my favorite parts of Korea. It's so good. It's so cheap. Then what do we do the next day? Next day we went to... Was the next day when we went to Gwanghwamun? Monday. What did we do Monday? Yeah, no, because Tuesday we went to Gwanghwamun, because that's when it was closed. What did we do Monday? I don't even remember.
Oh, I lost you for that whole section.
Oh, really? What is going on?
Try hanging up and then calling again, maybe.
Okay. Well, now I'm at 3 bars. I don't know. It dropped down to red bars for some reason.
Yeah, and we're both in Region East, U.S. East.
Yeah, I'm in the U.S. East, so.
Okay, I don't know.
It should be fine.
Where did you leave?
Monday.
Last part I got you. It was just like Sunday, and then Monday. What did we do on Monday?
Monday you went shopping a bunch and bought clothes.
Oh, that's when we went to. Because we went to Hongdae to first. We wanted to check if what they had. We went to the Eyes One pop-up store.
Yeah. Yep.
To see if they had any.
See if they had this.
The Eyes One light stick. It was sold out.
Yes.
Unfortunately, but we did see a sign that said, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be restocked." That Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, it was that Wednesday.
Yep.
That they had to restock the 24th.
Yep. So yeah, they had some stuff, but pretty much all the stuff we wanted. We basically just wanted the light stick. So we bought Jacob a giant desk mouse pad, because they did have that. And yeah, it said that the 24th, they would get more light sticks. So we're like, okay, we'll come back Wednesday morning. And then you went and bought a bunch of clothes.
Yeah, because I didn't pay attention to the changing weather sort of thing. So I assumed it would just be like, I mostly brought like hoodies and some t-shirts and long sleeves. But I didn't realize just how humid it was going to be in Korea. Like the whole time we were there, like I was just dying. So like I had to shop for mostly just t-shirts and everything. So we went into, I just shopped around like some parts of like Hongdae. Because there's a lot of Korean like brands that only sell in Korea. Like This Is Never That, or it's like called, like there's another brand called Have a Good Time, that sort of thing. So I love the streetwear style that they have in Korea. And again, just like the brands that aren't really known and they don't really have that much of a following outside of Korea. So I definitely wanted to pick some of that up while I was there. Yeah, I think I spent like $200 at one place. that one place that we went to in like that mall.
Yeah, the one that was just
I basically bought like 6 shirts and it ended up being like $250 like dollars like US. That's where we got the what was it, like Italian, like Japanese style Korean Italian food. That was good. That was great.
Like shrimp carbonara or whatever.
Yeah, I had like this like meatball, like cheese filled meatball type pasta, and then they had dessert with like, it was like a yogurt. It was
almond jelly, ice cream, and strawberry jam.
Yeah, that was great. I love that. Like, and again, the food was just super cheap, which just blew me away every single time that we went to something like that. Then Afterwards, we went to this store called Ader Error, which is like kind of like the most famous Korean sort of streetwear brand. They had this like huge, like bouncy, like or like huge inflatable ball in like the entrance, and you could touch it or whatever. That was a pretty expensive store. It's coming up right now on the slideshow, but that was pretty expensive. I only got 2 shirts from there, and it was like $250, like just alone. But they were worth it. Like it's a pretty popular brand, so I was happy. What did we do after? I think after that we just went back, took a nap. I think that's went twice.
Yeah, and then we met up with Jacob and went to Myeongdong. We went
to SM Town
because we went to the. No, that was a different day, wasn't it? I don't know. Well, no, because first we went to. Was it during the day that day, or was it? What day did we go to the other music store?
That was Wednesday when we went to Lord Sandwich.
No. When me, you, and Jacob went to the other music store, and I remember all 3 of us went to a music store.
That was Sunday.
We got was that Sunday after DMZ? Okay, well, yeah, at some point we went to a different music store, bought a bunch more music, because that's where we got Tiffany's album.
Yeah, I got Tiffany's album, I got Everglow's album, I bought Eyes One's albums,
Yep.
I bought Lim Kim's album. I feel so bad because there was like 1 copy left and no one cares about Lim Kim, so I found it a new home. And it was crazy. I think I remember on the thing there was an advertisement for like a BTS was having an event there later in the week, and it was like some type of raffle type thing. So that's crazy. That's just a normal thing. Like, oh, you can meet BTS at the store. It's just like no big deal.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty big like K-pop music store in Myeongdong. But yeah, so that was a couple days prior. But then after Hongdae, I think we just chilled that day.
No, we went back, took a nap, and then we went to SM Town.
Is that when we went to Coex? That's where we went to SM Town? Okay.
So yeah, Coex is just like this giant mall type thing.
In Gangnam.
Yeah, we went to Gangnam. It was pretty cool going to Gangnam. We didn't get to. That was pretty much the only place we went to in Gangnam though. It's just basically
you went to 1 million, but
it's just a giant mall. Specifically, the SM Town part was just this like. It's basically just like floors of just like SM stuff.
It's just like it's like museum plus stores. Unfortunately the actual museum part was closed.
It's closed by the time we went. Yeah,
so we didn't get to go in there because we went pretty late in the day. But yeah, like they had like Red Flavor and Shiny's like outfits from their last comebacks, like Red Velvet's and Shiny's last comeback outfits, like out on display. Just a bunch of like pictures of all the artists. We went to the store. And unfortunately, the store didn't really have as much types of things as I'd hoped they had. It was more just like really like I don't know. I don't even know what to describe what they had.
The interesting thing was for the store, it was like curated items that like specific SM artists liked. So they had
that part of the story. Yeah.
Other K-pop group albums there or other like companies albums there. Like they had like BTS or whatever. But it's like whatever like artists like their favorite like they had like their favorite soundtracks to like music to movies, favorite music, favorite foods, that type of thing. So that was a pretty interesting way to curate the store, just like what their favorite like the artist's favorite stuff was. The actual like there was another store that had like a lot of just like actual like SM goods. It also had like whatever clothes that the brands of clothes that they were wearing, either in music videos or on stage. They didn't have any of the light sticks, unfortunately, because they were all sold out. Yeah, which kind of sucked. The mall, I think, is where we just ate there, and I went and I bought my luggage because I needed to buy because I knew I was just gonna buy so much crap in both Korea and Japan that I just bought another luggage case. The mall was pretty nice though. I mean, it's like kind of all underground. And also, like I think I ate like tonkatsu there. Also, that's where I first had
we just went to like the food court.
Yeah, that's the first time I had Chilsung cider. So basically, like one thing I learned while I was in Korea is that they don't call Sprite. They could just call it cider for some reason.
Yeah, lemon lime soda is cider.
Yeah, cider.
So if you order cider in Korea, you'll get either like Sprite or Chilsung cider or any other brand of lemon lime soda.
So Chill Song Cider is just basically like Lotte's version of Sprite. It's a lot sweeter than what we're used to, like with regular Sprite. I on the flight back home, I specifically asked for Chill Song Cider, so that was pretty good. That's all we did for Monday. Tuesday, I think that's when we went to.
Well, we went to the show, but before we went to the show, did we do anything?
That's the first time we visited the palace, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went to Gwanghwamun
again.
To like again during the day, to like look at the King Sejong statue, and like go through the little museum that's under it and stuff. And we were gonna go to the palace. Cool. But then we were gonna go inside the palace, but it was closed on Tuesdays, which we didn't know about. So we got there and couldn't really do much other than take pictures outside. So we went to the League of Legends cafe.
Oh, no, that was. I forget. Was that? Yeah, that was the same day. Yeah, that was the same day. Because it's
in Gwanghwamun. Since we couldn't get into the palace.
Yeah, so we went to
the PC Bang there.
Yeah. It's called Lol Park. Wow, it's just literally coming up on the slideshow. So we went to Lol Park. Basically, that's where they do the live events for LCK, which is the Korean League of Legends tournament type thing. So yeah, when we went to Lol Park, we just went to the PC Bang. That's probably the most impressive looking PC Bang I've ever seen. I mean, like usually, granted, I guess it's Lol Park, so they had like all this stuff for. Well, one, they had like a bunch of games, like it wasn't just League of Legends. Like we played a bunch of just like Apex there, and we sucked. We always couldn't. We'd have so much trouble getting a third person.
I'm so bad at PC shooters. I need a controller.
But yeah, that was enjoyable though. Just like the interesting like experience of PC Bang. Like, and the one thing that was interesting to see, was just people would just go to PC Bang for like as their lunch break, like because you could order food while you're at the computer. So that's like what people do is just like they're just on their lunch break. They'd order food, play games like for an hour or so. So that was actually a pretty interesting thing. I didn't realize that people would just do that that's basically their lunch break. Just play video games at a PC Bang and order food.
Yep.
People, you could sleep there. They had like blankets and everything. That was an interesting experience. So I mean, we already talked about going to the show, but I don't think we did anything.
Yeah, the rest of Tuesday we went to the show. We talked about that in episode 118 part 2, so you can go listen to that to hear about that. Wednesday
we went. We need to talk about like our whole like Eyes One light stick ordeal. That took up most of the day.
It spent all day standing in line.
Yeah, so we tried to get there close to opening as we can for the Eyes One light stick.
Yeah, they opened at 11, so we got there like 10:40, 10:45 probably. Well, maybe it was a little earlier. But yeah, we were like, okay, let's try to get there a little before opening, just so we know we can get a light stick or whatever, because there might be a little bit of a line.
And there was a lot of a line.
At 11. There was a lot of a line.
Yeah,
we were probably like the 100th people there.
It literally wrapped around the building. That's how much, because everyone knew that there was a restock for light sticks.
Just for a pop-up store. Like it's not like Eyes One was gonna be there. It's not like, but yeah, there was a line, like there was a concert. Just because it was restock day. So yeah, we waited in line for like an hour and a half. And got up to the store, and we were like worried, like hopefully they have enough light sticks, because there's like 100 people in front of us.
And no, there were people walking out with like bags full of light sticks.
Bags of them, yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that's how they do group orders.
Hopefully they're still in stock.
Yeah.
But then we got up, once we got inside and got on the escalator, we saw they had like just like probably like 40 boxes of them. So
yeah, the boxes were going to like the ceiling.
Hundreds of light sticks.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a problem. But yeah, so we had to wait in line for forever. We bought a bunch of like Eyes One stuff. I got photo card set and another card set, and then light stick.
I bought the
yours is weak.
I bought the because they have this. The cool part about this light stick is that the handle you can replace
with members.
Yeah, so each member has their own color. So you could get a light stick that matches whatever member color you want. So Like see like the little
so
like,
the
ball type things.
That's how the normal one is just gold, has a gold star thing and just a white base.
I like how this looks. I like the color.
That's Hanako's. Yeah, but yours is weak. Because mine has twice as many little balls inside.
No, you know what I saw? Somebody bought like enough of those like ball packets
to fill
it up with one color, like with like.
Oh jeez.
Yeah,
wait, really?
With just with like
you
ones.
need like 50 of them.
Yeah, people.
That's like. They were like, it was like $10 for a pack. That's like $500.
They bought enough of those just to fill it with one person's color.
That's ridiculous.
And I mean, people were doing ridiculous stuff like that. Like there was one person that bought because they had a whole because obviously there's 12 of these handles, and there was like a package deal where you could buy all 12 of them, and
for $100.
Yeah, for $100, and someone did that, and like you're just like taking like all the handles and everything. So. It's actually a really good design light stick. I love like the sort of interactive elements or like the changeable elements of it. I love the different color LEDs. You can change it for whatever member. I like the idea of the balls, even though when they keep falling out when I'm trying to freaking like replace the like ring or whatever. Like pretty, and you have to be really careful with it. It's just a really cool light stick in general. One thing I didn't expect in terms of like Eyes One and just like how popular certain members were. Like all of Minju's stuff was sold out. Like every single one Minju item was sold out, surprisingly. I didn't realize how popular she was. Same thing with Jo Yuri. I didn't think that those would be some of the popular members.
Really popular.
Yeah, in terms of like Eyes One. Like you'd think it'd be like I don't know, like you'd think it'd be like Won Young or An Yujin or Yena. So but apparently they love their Minju. After that I think that's when we went to Lord Sandwich.
Because that was Wednesday. So yeah, then we went to get lunch around, and we wanted to go to a music store, because you wanted to get an Ape Inc. album for your friend, and we wanted to get Twice, and since it was brand new that day. So yeah, we went back to Shinton. I went to my normal music store that I went to when I was in college all the time. And then we went to Lord Sandwich again because Andrew didn't go before I went with Jacob the other time. We got sandwiches.
It was definitely a bit of a walk.
Oh yeah, it's far. It wasn't really close to the subway station, unfortunately.
But I did.
But it was worth it.
I never realized how huge the campus was because it's just like kept going and going and going. Like it was just like it's basically like an actual like when you think of like actual like university in the United States, it was like that type of like school in terms of size.
Mm-hmm.
There was obviously a lot of like foreigners walking around because again, like I'm guessing Yonsei has a pretty extensive like exchange student program.
Yeah, and Lord Sandwich is over by the international dorm, so that's why like you see a lot more over there, because that's where they're all staying. So yeah, we went there, we went back, and then you went to.
Well, I mean,
1 million.
I just wanted to, I guess I could talk about like
you want
hearing Nate talk up Lord Sandwich for years at this point. I was just like interested in how
good.
That's probably the best sandwich I've ever had in my entire life. I got a croque madame, so basically it's just like egg and like bacon and like ham on like this. Again, the bread. The bread was probably the best part. I'm just like, oh my god, it's not a lie. It's actually really good. Yeah, I'm craving Lord Sandwich. I've been craving Lord Sandwich for the past week, and I'd fly back to Korea just to try that sandwich again. And it sucks that it's not a chain, so it's literally the only place you can get it at. So, like, at this point, Lord Sandwich should just sponsor us because we've been talking up this establishment for so long. So, and like you said, like they can deliver and everything. I mean, granted, everyone delivers in Korea.
Yeah,
right?
like
so.
everyone, all restaurants in Korea deliver basically. So.
And again, just like I keep talking about, like in terms of like reasonable prices, like I got like a sandwich and like a drink and everything, and it wasn't expensive at all for how good it was. So that's probably the one thing I miss the most about Korea is just how cheap the food was and how good the food was. Because to get good Korean food here, like I have to pay an arm and a leg. Because one, it's New York City. Two, it's just not as common. So yeah, after that I went to 1 million, but I'm gonna wait until that video goes or that class video goes up, and I'll talk about it more extensively because I want to show some of the clips I have now. But since they haven't uploaded it, I don't want to beat them to the punch. But I mean, just to give you like a summary, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Trying to navigate the subways by myself was interesting, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. I guess because
it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I guess because I'm used to just navigating New York City subways. I think the one thing that was annoying is that having to download specific apps to just find your way around Korea. Like, you have to download Kakao Maps and Kakao Metro or whatever, because Google...
Well, no, it was weird because, Google doesn't, like, have any navigation, which is weird.
Google doesn't have walking directions in Korea or something like that.
But, yeah, like, Kakao has stuff, but then if you want, like, different modes of public transportation, they have different apps, which is annoying. So there was, like, a Metro app, and then when we had to figure out the bus stuff for getting back to the airport, there was a bus app, and it's like, why aren't these all just one big app? Like, why are they separated? Which is annoying. But for me, like, the subway, I didn't even need an app. I knew, because the subway, it's just, I know.
Yeah, because we lived
being there.
Yeah, we lived pretty close to, what is that green line called? It's just called the green line, right?
The green line, or line 2, which is like circles all of Seoul. It's
that's pretty much the
main lines.
Yeah, the one you want to be around, essentially, if you want to go anywhere in Seoul.
And Shincheon, like where I lived in school, was on that line, so I knew that line really well. So we were on that line, so that was easy. So you came back, and we went to Avengers, which on Wednesday night, which is Wednesday morning here. So we got to see it a day and a half before the US. And it was awesome. Which, it's Avengers. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't want to talk about it a bunch, but
without spoiling anything. But I mean,
it was interesting. They didn't show trailers.
Yeah, is that
like the movie just started?
Yeah,
I was like, that's weird.
They showed like a few trailers, like while we were still walking in, but pretty much
there was
the movie just
wasn't
started.
Dedicated like the US does.
Yeah, like it's not like how you get a bunch of trailers beforehand in the US. Not to mention, I thought I was gonna, because if you're not familiar, I try not to watch Marvel trailers or Star Wars trailers or Godzilla trailers, just because I'm trying to not have anything spoil. Because pretty much trailers spoil like everything nowadays. So I'm trying to go into the experience like as blank as possible, so I don't really get like the story spoiled for me. And usually whenever I go to see a Marvel movie, they always have a trailer for the next Marvel movie, so I'm just sitting there in the theater going like la 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 la, but I didn't have to do that at all, which is a refreshing experience. But yeah, it was an interesting thing to just walking straight in, or going in and having like the movie start almost immediately. I guess the one thing is that though we saw it pretty late, so we had to catch a taxi back, because after at 1 a.m. all of the subways stopped running in Korea, and we got out like well past 1 in the morning at that point, I think, because Avengers is like 3 hours long, so we saw a 10 o'clock showing. It was it definitely took all of that 3 hours, definitely. So
so we took a taxi back, and unfortunately.
The nice thing is though that they take T-money, so it was pretty easy. So that's the thing. Like, we don't have that here in I mean, granted, they take a credit card in most cabs, but I think just the concept of T-money, just being able to use like the same card for train and for like bus and for like and for taxi. Yeah, just like that's actually pretty convenient. I wish we had. I mean, Metro cards are kind of like that, but sometimes it's not as convenient as it is, or in terms of like filling it up. So
then unfortunately, we got out super late, had to take cab back, and then we had to go to the airport at like 4:30. We had to leave at like 4:30 in the morning, so we only got like 2 hours of sleep that night. So then we went to the airport in the morning and flew to Japan.
Yep. So I mean, just to bookend like the Korea part of the trip, I could definitely see why you guys loved it so much. Just finally being there for the first time. I definitely want to go back. I don't know, not this year, not next year, because I'm going to the Philippines next year. But I'll try to make it back as soon as I can, just because I loved it there, and I really being there only like Saturday. I was barely there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, I was only there for like 4 days essentially, and I feel like I barely got to see anything. So there's just a lot more I want to see. Again, I love the clothes. I love all the style. I definitely want to go back, and so I'm interested in how it was for you just going back after all these years.
Yeah, it was really nice. Seoul's like, I don't know, it's almost like a second home. And I was only there for 4 months. And I only lived there for 4 months. I lived in Minnesota more than I lived in Seoul, but like I don't even really think of my time in Minnesota. But yeah, it really does feel like a second home. So it was nice being back, and it really felt really familiar, and it was just really nice being back. And I definitely want to go back again because, yeah, like you said, I was there for a whole week and I still like just didn't get to do everything I wanted to do.
I need to learn a lot more Korean though, because again, pretty much just Jacob was you and Jacob were my lifeline when it comes to just like saying any other than like 감사합니다 or just saying cider. That's literally like the only words or just like like what food items were. That's all I could sort of get out of saying anything in terms of Korean. But like, I'm surprised. I guess it wasn't that bad trying to like get across, because
most people know English.
Yeah, a lot of surprising amount of people, or a lot of people know English there, so they'll understand you for the most part.
Yep.
So yeah, that wraps up the Korea part of their trip. So anything interesting that catches your eye? Yeah, definitely. If you're if you're interested in going to Korea and want to know just how the experience is or what's a good place to stay, what good food is, just definitely you can ask us in the comments.
Yep. I'll move on to topic 3, which we'll talk about Japan now, and you can lead this one.
Okay, so first off, we're going to the airport like at like 3-4 in the morning or whatever, because my flight was at like 9, I think, in the morning. So
yeah, your flight was at 9. Mine was at like 10:30.
Yeah, so I was kind of running to because it's kind of like an hour away from like Seoul to.
But yeah, the first bus wasn't there till like 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it takes like an hour.
Yeah, so going to Japan, obviously, like that's a first experience for all of us. None of us had gone there before, so and for me, like wanting to go there for forever, it was exciting. Flight was pretty lax or whatever, because it's weird to think how like Korea and Japan are like again completely different countries, and yet it's the same like 2.5 hour flight is like me flying to Florida essentially, but it's in a completely different country, which is just insane in terms of like trying to like wrap that around my head. So we landed in Narita Airport. It was pretty smooth going through the customs and everything. It was funny because the guy asked me, he's like, "Do you have any marijuana? Do you have any guns?" I'm just like, okay, I get I'm an American, but it doesn't mean like literally everything I do is just carry around guns and marijuana. Yeah, like Asian countries are definitely stricter in that type of sense in terms of just like what you can bring into the country. But it was fine. So once Nate lands, we get our tickets to take the. Basically, we have to take, because it's kind of like how in Seoul, where the airport's pretty, like, Narita's pretty far away from, like, the actual downtown Tokyo. So we take a train, like the Keisei Access line or whatever. Obviously, just a bunch of tourists. The one difference, like, just in general, between Japan or Tokyo and, like, Seoul is that in Seoul, it's okay, or it's usually okay to talk on the subway, but in Japan, no one talks on the subway. It's just like eerily quiet like the entire time. And if you're talking really loud, people are just gonna give you bad like weird looks or just like tell you to shut up or whatever. Yeah, that's just definitely something that was just sort of a bit to get used to at first. Just not used to like doing that. We didn't do all that much the first day we got there. We landed on a Thursday because it was kind of an ordeal just getting to the Airbnb. Like we had to go to the Skytree, and that's where like our subway got us off, and then we had to get like the card thing, like the Passmo, which is how you get through the subways. Another difference between like Korea and Japan is the subway system in Japan is just way more extensive. There's just way more lines.
There's more complicated.
Yeah, there's way more companies that run subway lines. So it's not like in Korea there's only pretty much 1 or 2 companies that run subway lines, just like the main Seoul Metro and then the one that runs the subway to, or like the train to the airport, essentially. That's it. Whereas there's probably like 5 or 6 different companies that run subways in Tokyo. So you have to pay for every time you switch between companies, which is a bit of a different experience. So once we got that figured out, we had to walk to our Airbnb. It was kind of an ordeal trying to bring, because I had like my carry-on and 2 like check-in bags, and trying to carry that all the way through like pretty much the subway stations in Japan, and I guess in Korea, are just like they're mazes. So like there's a bunch of different like exits and that sort of thing. And our Airbnb was kind of a walk. But once we got there, once we got settled in, our Airbnb was so tiny. It was literally just a kitchen, like a tiny bathroom, and then like the main like sleeping area. Like how they measure rooms or old style rooms in Japan is by tatami mats. Tatami mats are like the straw sort of like decorative mats that they put on the floor. It was 3 tatami mats wide. So literally there was only room for like 3 of us, like myself, Nate, and Jacob, to sleep. And obviously like the cabinet, which had like the futons and everything. It was definitely an interesting experience, like sleeping on the floor or just like doing a traditional style thing. I know you had trouble with it, Nate, because you're used to.
It's just, it was fine. But yeah, it was just like not the most comfortable thing in the world to sleep on a floor.
Maybe it's just because I was so tired all the time that I slept.
Well,
so
the first
easily.
night I slept really well. Like I was dead because we only got like 2 hours sleep going from Avengers to the airport. I slept like 12 hours that day. 'Cause, we got there, we went and ate at a little local. So like it was kind of nice because we were in like a very quiet like neighborhood area.
It's like near like a school.
There was like there was like a daycare nearby, and like there was like a nice little like Buddhist shrine and like a couple of like
Shinto
shrines. But yeah, it was just a really quiet, nice neighborhood. We weren't in like downtown Tokyo, like what you'd expect of Tokyo.
Basically,
it was like an anime.
Yeah, it really was like an anime. Like that first picture I took, I'm just like, oh my god, it looks like an anime, like with like the crows going. Like I didn't think that was real. Like just like how loud the freaking crows are, just like in like the suburbs of Tokyo or whatever. Like I thought that was just like all like random anime stuff, but it actually exists. Just like they do a really good job in anime to just sort of describe how life is in just like the city, or just describing just like normal life there. So when we went to that restaurant,
we went to a like small local restaurant nearby.
It was funny because again, Nate and Jacob were my lifeline in Korea because I can't speak any Korean. Meanwhile, I was their lifeline in Japan because I'm the only one that can speak Japanese. So. And this restaurant had no English menu whatsoever, so I just had to do a bit of like Google translating and just like trying to read what katakana and hiragana that I understood. And we lived. If anything, we got like an amazing freaking chicken katsu. It's like basically like chicken katsu and covered in like this like egg and like other sauce.
Yeah, it was like cooked in egg and onion basically.
Oh my god, like I want to go back just for that like specific like meal because it was incredible. Again, just like it's really cheap. It was just like the first time we were around, it was like a discount because I think it was like around
like $6.
Yeah, it was like around like 600 yen or so. Trying to figure out one thing that's a difference between Korea and Japan is that in Japan you use way more coins. Like
God, it's so obnoxious.
Okay, because I'll break down. There's a 1. In terms of yen, there's a 1 yen coin, there's a 5 yen coin, there's 50 yen, there's 100 yen, and then there's 500
yen. There's 10 as well.
Yeah, there's a
10 as well.
There's a 10.
Yeah, so there's penny, nickel, dime, and then there's a 50 yen coin, and then there's
100, 500,
so a dollar coin and a $5 coin, and there's no bills for 100 or 500 yen, like a dollar or $5 essentially. The smallest bill they have is 1,000 yen, which is like $10.
Yeah, so you're using coins most of the time,
which is obnoxious.
And trying to
Korea's
figure out
opposite.
Yeah, and
Korea's all bills.
Yeah, Korea's all bills where like you really use the coins, and not to mention there's no pennies, so it's a lot easier to calculate just like bills and everything.
Everything in Korea's like 100 won. Very rarely you'll get something in 50 won.
It almost always ends in a 0 or a 5.
But it's always ends in a 0 or 5, and it's usually in 100 won, which is a dime basically. And also for won, 1,000 won's a dollar basically.
Yeah. And the tax is included, so you don't have to do like any of that stuff. Whereas in Japan, sometimes they don't include the tax all the time. So trying to figure out like like trying to calculate all of that in terms of coins was an ordeal.
And then also trying to make sure we use all of our coins so that we didn't come back. Because, like, for the currency exchange, at least the one I used, they wouldn't take coins. Like, they only took bills. So I had to make sure, like, all the coins I had I used, which luckily I ended up using all of them.
Oh, I didn't. I still have a lot, unfortunately. But I mean, like, pretty much my plan was to get rid of my coins. It's just every time I saw a vending machine, I just buy a drink, even if I didn't want anything. Yeah. And it's not even an underestimating it, but there's literally a vending machine on every street corner. Like there are like streets full of just like vending machines, and they have like hot drinks and cold drinks and like all these different types of like juice and like coffee or whatever. Like it's literally like what you see in an anime or whatever. So it was pretty interesting, just like getting it out of a machine. So yeah, Nate, you didn't do anything else the rest of that day. I went to the Sky Tree.
I slept for 12 hours.
Yeah, you slept for freaking 12 hours. I went to the Sky Tree. Unfortunately, cause Jacob got to go to the Sky Tree, but he went during the day. Or no, he went during the day. He didn't go when it was cloudy. That was my problem. I went when it was cloudy, so I literally I don't even have any of the pictures on here because I really couldn't see anything because the visibility was kind of poor, which kind of sucked. But I mean, it was still pretty cool going up to the Sky Tree. There's a part where it's like as someone that loves like thrill seeking or whatever, like I enjoy this part, but there's a part where it's like the floor is glass, so you can see all the way down. So I love that. I love those things. So yeah, the Sky Tree itself is like, it's not just like the building. There's an entire like mall complex around it, which we went to the following day to pick up Jacob, because Jacob had like midterms and everything, so he couldn't leave until Friday. He couldn't leave until Friday when he didn't have any class. So we went to the Sky Tree because that was the easiest place to meet up with Jacob. In the morning, we had an appointment at the Kirby Cafe store. Unfortunately, we couldn't go to the Kirby Cafe because that was like booked for like the next 5 months or so. Apparently, I didn't realize how popular the Kirby Cafe. Well, it's Nintendo, so everything is going to be popular.
Yeah. And it was an anniversary thing, so
yeah, because it's like the 30 something anniversary or 40 something anniversary of Kirby. So I bought a lot of stuff there. Definitely, just like this bunch of like Kirby items. There's like Kirby like washi tape. There's Kirby like rock candy or whatever. Yeah. There's like a lot of like Kirby stuff. The mall there is actually pretty nice.
And the hat you're wearing.
Yeah, the hat I'm wearing has Kirby on it. So for the rest of the mall, that's not Kirby stuff. One thing you don't really, or you see a lot in anime, again, like my only experience with Japan prior to this was just anime, so that's what I'm going to compare it with, is you see a lot of like food stalls and just like people like offering food, and like there was a section of the mall that was just like that, where like you could smell it before you could even like see all the food. But there's like a bunch of like pastry shops and like cakes and like macaroons and like all this sort of stuff, and I'm just like, I have no room in my luggage for all of this stuff, or it's gonna go bad before I can take it back to the U.S. And I regret. We should have gone, because like, oh my god, all the stuff smelled so good. Yeah,
we didn't actually eat any of it. But yeah, you bought some clothes there as well.
Yeah, from like a specific this company. The company is called Beams. It's kind of like one of the most popular or most famous Japanese clothing brands.
Oh, and then we went. There was like a kind of like a toy store upstairs too that we looked around in, and I got like a 30th anniversary Final Fantasy bag.
There's an aquarium there.
Yeah, there was an aquarium, which was weird.
Like, there's a lot of stuff at Sky Tree, surprisingly. Like, it's not just going up to the tower. And the weird thing is the Sky Tree was only built in like 2011, so all this stuff is pretty much new. So it's pretty relatively new. Also, there was a lot of students around because, again, like we went around Golden Week, or like it was coming up on Golden Week. So I think a lot of school children were either off early, or
school trips, or
definitely field trips, because I could see people like getting like souvenirs, omiyage, for people and that sort of thing. And like, it's weird, like, again, it's such a trope, like seeing like Japanese school children walking around in the uniforms, but like that's just like a normal thing. or just like that's a normal thing for like to see like kids walking around with like their school bags or whatever. So yeah, once we finally met up with Jacob, we went over to the Pokemon Cafe. Yeah, so we went to Tokyo, which is in Tokyo Station. We went to the Pokemon Center DX, which has the Pokemon Cafe. I'll try to find the pictures of it specifically, just so you could see what we're talking about. which was
spent way too much money.
Yeah, no, I spent a lot of money there. So yeah, the Pokemon Cafe was nice. It's kind of like it's pretty nondescript, like going there, because
yeah, like the outside of the building just has like Pokemon Center DX or whatever. Like,
yeah, like you
can barely tell.
It looks like a regular.
You think
like,
it'd be a
office
giant
building.
like. Yeah, exactly. It looks like an office building. You think it would be like a themed building that looks like a Pokemon Center, and it'd be like a theme park type thing where it would be very obvious. But no, it was literally just looks like a normal office building.
But going there was just like paradise. There's literally just Pokemon, Pikachu, and Eevee stuff everywhere. Like I got as part of the reservation, you can reserve like special goods in advance. So I got these. And you have the Eevee one somewhere in the back, right?
Somewhere. No,
yes.
my Eevee one's not. Actually, is it back there?
It's
somewhere else.
Yeah, so
I think
I got
it's
all
over
these.
there somewhere.
It's just like Chef and Waiter, Pikachu. So they had a bunch of that stuff. It was just waiting on our table, which is awesome. And so basically how you order the food, it was like on an iPad, and all of the food was just like Pokemon themed. So I got this like hamburg steak vegetable type thing in the shape of a Snorlax. You guys got what'd you get again? Just like because you got
the Eevee, which was just like it was almost like bulgogi with like rice patties or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just like random side stuff.
Yeah, and the plates were like they were souvenir plates that you took home.
I got the Eevee plate, and the Eevee hot chocolate and the Eevee mug, and yeah, you got to keep like if you paid extra, you got to keep the mug and the plate. So I have an Eevee plate and an Eevee mug.
And then they had drinks that were like that were tailored or named after like specific Pokemon. So like they had the 3 legendary birds like the Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. So I got the Zapdos drink. I think Jacob got the.
You mean Thunder?
Thunder, yeah, it's so funny like how basic like the names are.
Zapdos is literally just called Thunder.
And then this one of the servers came around and you had a chance to like win like a random coaster, and I ended up getting a Zapdos one which fit well. And then the star of the show, or like the best part, was a person came around in like an Eevee costume, and it was so adorable, and they did a dance, and like they went up to like everyone, and like, everyone was like freaking out, even like the adults that were there. Everyone was just like, oh my god, it's Eevee. It was definitely an experience. I know you guys bought a lot more stuff there too as well, in terms of just like souvenirs. I
bought like a cup and a towel and some stuff. And then we went in the store.
Oh, the store was just dangerous. Like I bought like so much food. I bought this special edition that you could only get this at the Pokemon Center DX, the one that we went to. It was like a store exclusive one, because obviously it's April cherry blossom, so it's basically Pikachu has a cherry blossom afro thing going on, which is awesome, amazing. I
got a Kabuki Pikachu, which is back there.
Yeah, the Kabuki Pikachu. You bought a bunch of Vulpix.
Bought a bunch of plushies.
There's
Vulpix.
there's an entire section. It's just like a wall full of Pokemon plushies, and like a bunch of food. They had obviously a lot of like Pokemon trading card game stuff, like especially for Detective Pikachu. I wish we went the next day. If we went the day after, that's when the Pokemon Cafe started introducing a new menu for their for Detective Pikachu. Same thing with the store, that they were gonna have a Detective Pikachu event like the day after we went. So I should have timed it better, but still, it was just like paradise going through there. And Jacob bought a luggage like carrier with Pikachu on it because he needed a carry-on anyway. So we spent.
So you get to walk around Tokyo with a Pikachu luggage. Everyone was laughing. Guys were laughing at him.
Yeah, on the subway, it was pretty funny. So that was probably like one of the highlights. Definitely just going to the Pokemon Center, and I've heard of Pokemon centers and just like how extensive their merchandise is for the longest time. So it was incredible just finally getting to go there. So after that, we went back to the Airbnb to just drop off all our stuff, and then we went to like the most famous place, or like one of the most famous places in Tokyo, Akihabara, Akiba, which is where basically that's like the center of like otaku culture and that sort of thing. So we
all the anime and video game stuff.
There's literally just like freaking maids walking around Akiba just like trying to get you to go in the maid cafe. We'll get to that later, but so like literally we just walked into random stores that had just like a bunch of like anime stuff. Nate went way too hard on buying Zoids.
First we went to, did we go to Super Potato first?
No, we went to Kotobukiya first.
Oh, we went to okay. So yeah, I bought a couple of Zoids kits because I really liked Zoids as a kid. And screw Gundams. Zoids are way better.
Yeah.
No, I know most people think I'm crazy, but yeah, so I got a couple of Zoids kits, and luckily they had kits from the original like series that I watched as a kid, not like the newer stuff. They had some newer stuff too, but so I got those kits from the original series.
Yeah, I didn't end up buying much anime stuff for myself, in all honesty. I was mostly just buying for other people because everyone I wanted like I got my cousin like a Godzilla T-shirt, or she's like Danganronpa goods or whatever. So after that we went to.
I didn't see it. Oh, I missed Danganronpa. I should have got some Danganronpa stuff.
It was pretty small. I'll touch on that later. I couldn't find any. I had to go to like a specific store. So after that, we just went walking around. We went to a maid cafe, which was a very interesting experience. I enjoyed it.
Well, we went to Super Potato first.
Oh, yeah, we went to Super Potato. Super Potato is like the most famous like retro video game store in Akihabara. It's kind of expensive, but I mean, it's because they have the most extensive library in terms of games and that sort of thing. We all bought copies of Pokemon Green, which was really funny.
Yeah. Well, I bought it for my brother, but yeah.
Yeah, and Jacob literally bought a Pokemon Game Boy Pocket specifically just to play.
Or was it Game Boy Light or whatever?
No, he got a Game Boy Pocket. Game Boy Light.
It was a Pocket, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Light has a backlight.
Yeah, so he got one of those. Then
I bought Chrono Trigger and Pokemon Green for my friend and my brother.
The only games I bought was just Pokemon Green and then Tear Ring Saga. Tear Ring Saga is just like this. It's basically it's made by the same people or people that used to work at Intelligent Systems, the people that made Fire Emblem. So it's basically just kind of like a PlayStation 1 era Fire Emblem type game. So I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I've been interested in it for a while. After that, we went to a maid cafe called Maid Dreamin', which was a very interesting experience. I enjoyed it a lot. You guys didn't so much.
Jacob and I were not fans.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Come on.
It's just awkward. It's like, I don't know.
Like, basically, the one we went to, it's literally just like the PG version of a host or hostess bar, which is a very popular thing in Japan. Just the idea of a host or hostess bar is you go there, you buy drinks, you get to talk to like the host or hostess, which is almost always a very, very, very pretty person, guy or girl. And that's how they make their money. They get you to buy a lot of drinks, drink a lot, that type of thing. Basically the PG version of that would be maid cafes where they're basically dressed up in like maid outfits and they're very cute and they act nice to you and you have to cast magical spells before you eat your food. There's a cover charge even. Basically it's literally like a bar. So
there's creepy old dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, basically like the kind of the target demographic for them are just one otaku, obviously, because the people that work there are otaku themselves. So like they the one of the servers that we had was talking to us about like Red Dead Redemption. The one that could
actually speak English.
Yeah, she was nice.
We got there. Yeah, she was nice. But
yeah, she was my favorite.
Like, I mean, it was just awkward because like Jacob and I were just like, this is like not something we're really. I don't know. It felt weird, and it was kind of clearly like it was a little awkward for them too because like they didn't know that much English or like it was hard for them. Like the whole point is they're supposed to be there like interacting with you and like just talking with you while you eat or whatever. And yeah, like since like the one knew a decent amount of English, but it was still like a little awkward. But yeah, she was talking to us about video games and stuff because she was talking about how she played Red Dead and other video games
like Zelda, that sort of thing. So yeah, they definitely know what they're talking about when it comes to. Well, I guess you have to if you're catering to like
part
that
of your job.
Yeah, if you're catering to an otaku bar, you kind of have to be an otaku when it comes to dealing with that. The food wasn't bad. I got like this curry.
Yeah, it was.
You weren't that hungry, so you just got like this huge,
we just
like
got,
freaking like parfait.
Shakes.
Yeah.
Or yeah, parfaits.
Yeah, so we did that. I didn't get that spicy of a curry, but it was still really good. There's like a part where like they literally just like have a show or whatever, like a performance and like light sticks and everything, and like they have this like mystery box where you could pull out like a random prize. I ended up pulling out like the fourth one, which is like a button, but like one guy got like they're like special like cookies or something like that, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
One guy was just way gone already. Like this old guy, just like all he did was just like drink and whatever. And after a certain point, he was just like completely gone during the performance. One of them, they started playing K-pop at one point or twice at one point, and one of them knew the choreography to TT or whatever, or whatever it was.
No, yeah, I don't know. They played one of the Japanese versions of one of the songs.
Yeah, Twice songs. And I was like, oh, that's how popular Twice is in Japan. Like that's one thing I realized, or I didn't realize, just how popular Twice is in Japan, because. Yeah, like we afterwards, I guess I'll mention it when we get to You're the Bashi camera, but so after that we just I just checked out a video game store just to see because I wanted to buy a copy of Final Fantasy 12 there. Sold out. Like I never realized just how easily things sell out in Japan in terms of just like video games. I guess it's kind of niche in a way, like Final Fantasy and that type of thing, so they didn't have that many copies, or because it literally just came out the day before. Stuff, physical copies. It just came out the day before, so I'm guessing that's why they didn't have restocks. So I ended up buying a copy of like Dead or Alive 3, Beach Volleyball 3, or whatever it is, just because the physical copy of that is like gonna be a rare like collector's item one day. Also, just because the volleyball was pretty fun playing the game. Though it's a lot of work trying to just like do volleyball. No, like the volleyball actually is really a fun part of the game, but a lot of it's just work, just trying to get like enough like coin or like currency to like buy all the different outfits and everything, so it's kind of tedious in that way. It's still kind of a fun game though. After that we went to Yodobashi Camera, which is like one of the most famous like electronic department stores in Akiba. It was literally like 10 floors, like it was insane, where like one floor was just like computer stuff and phone stuff, another floor was just like cameras or just like headphones. I got a fisheye lens at Yodobashi Camera. That's something I was actually like looking for there. So it was actually pretty good. And the price was, I got it for a huge discount compared to what I'd have to pay here in America, which is really nice in terms of just getting a discount. Then what else did we do? There's like a whole like video game floor and like Blu-rays, and they had a whole toy store section where I bought like because I was a big fan of Power Rangers. Power Rangers was originally based off of a show called Super Sentai, and they had the new Super Sentai show is coming out, so they just had released like the new toys and everything. So I bought one of the toys there. Very expensive, like because with Power Rangers, like they have like the bunch of like there's 5 different Rangers, and then they put it together, and then they make a Megazord. One of the Zords was just one of them, like the tiny one, was already like $40, and to build the whole thing, like to get like the whole like complete set, it would have been like $150, which is insane. Okay, granted, again, it's basically like it's like Gundam figures in a way, just like their equivalent of that, and also the toys are really high quality there, so you're definitely not cheaping out. After that, we went to, there was a Tower Records at the very top floor, and oh my god, I went way too hard there. I bought an HKT48 CD because Sasshii's concert was coming up, which we'll get to in the next topic. HKT48 CD, AKB48 CD. I bought Perfume's entire discography. I bought all of Utada Hikaru's recent music. I bought like here, I'm gonna look for it. I bought the single to
Don't Think Twice.
Don't Think Twice.
Here, I have it. It's right here. Face My Fears. It's right here. I got it.
Yep, got it.
He bought this.
Yeah, basically, yeah, just like the song with Skrillex from Kingdom Hearts 3. The nice thing is, though, when I went on these shopping sprees, is that all of it was tax-free. Basically, all they had to do is like put the receipt in like my passport, and then I wouldn't have to pay the tax, which is incredible. So, but I spent almost $300 just in CDs at Tower Records, which I did not expect to do.
Yeah, I bought this. I bought SNSD is the Best, literally for 2 songs. because it's not even on iTunes or anything.
Yeah.
So I wanted Indestructible and Divine are only on this album.
Yeah, that's why.
And then
that's why we went to Tower Records, because a lot of a lot of Japanese artists or Japanese music isn't available on Spotify or iTunes in America. So you still have to go to the physical record stores.
This came out literally like the day before the day we got there, which is Laboom's first Japanese album. So I bought that.
Yeah, it sucks because they had a fan meet that like around then too, but we couldn't go
that day or whatever.
It was all the way in like freaking Yokohama or something, but we weren't going there till later. See, that was it's interesting to see again, both in Korea and Japan, just how extensive record stores still are over there, because that's really not a thing here in America. Like all we have left is like FYE maybe, and then no one else. Best Buy. No, my Best Buy got rid of its music section.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Mine still has music.
Yeah, they got rid of it. Like it's just Blu-rays and video games now. They don't even have any CDs. Yeah, it's interesting to see just that environment still. Also, I was surprised at how much K-pop they had at Tower Records. Like they had Fancy there. Like they literally just had like a bunch of like Twice and BTS, and I think NCT 127 just released their album, so they had a whole section for that. K-pop definitely is still a driving force in Japan, despite having a strong domestic market as well. I think that's all we did. Yeah, that's all we did that day, which was Friday. Saturday, we went to the Ghibli Museum, which was out in Mitaka. It was kind of a ways away because it's kind of in like this park in the middle of nowhere. But as a big fan of Ghibli movies, and I was trying to like binge watch all the Ghibli movies before we went there, it was definitely enjoyable. Like I got to see like the giant, I don't know if I can find it, but the robot from Castle in the Sky. Like they have a giant like replica of it in the park. The only thing is though, we couldn't take too many pictures because the inside museum part you can't take any pictures. Just on the outside or on the roof is when you can take pictures. But I still enjoyed it. It was still like crazy to see all this Ghibli stuff, and just like how they had interesting exhibits on like how they still like hand draw or like hand color all of it, or like the process of making the different Ghibli movies. What else did we do? Oh, we got to see
short.
Yeah, the short sort of thing. So the ticket that they give you once you like get in, it's like this film strip type thing, and I couldn't tell what film mine was particularly, but you show that to the when you go to the theater, you show that, they stamp it so you can't go in again, and they'd show a short made by Studio Ghibli, because Studio Ghibli didn't make just movies, they'd make these like shorts or whatever. So they showed one, I forget the name of it. It was like one about like a dog getting lost or whatever. So it was a nice short, and definitely it's Studio Ghibli-esque. The one I wish that we got to watch was May and the Cat Bus, which was, it's a short that they made like 10, 15 years ago, I think. And it's only shown at the the Ghibli Museum. So like, that's actually a really like interesting or rare sort of anime short to see. So it's technically a sequel to My Neighbor Totoro, but it's sort of just like a small short having to do with the little sister May and like the child, a baby version of the cat bus from the movie. So they were showing a trailer for it in one of the sections, and like again, that footage has never been seen outside of the museum. So just even seeing the footage there was pretty insane. Just being able to like experience that was pretty cool. You guys didn't buy much or like see much of anything though. So what were your thoughts? I
thought it was really cool to see all that stuff. It was cool to see like all the different techniques they do for like making the animation and like layering different parts of the cells and stuff like that. It's really cool. But yeah, Jacob and I didn't buy anything, but we wanted to go to the cafe, but the line for the cafe was like 3 hours
3 hours long because it's that notable. And again, we went on a Saturday. We went on a Saturday morning, so it was busy. Very busy with a lot of like children and like parents and families, that sort of thing. So
yeah, there was some like New Zealand group there. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't notice.
Like, there was a bunch of kids with like hoodies on or whatever that had like New Zealand and Japanese flag, and it said like cultural club or something.
Oh,
so
like a culture exchange type of thing.
Yeah, a culture exchange type thing. It was like a group of kids from New Zealand that were visiting Japan or whatever. But yeah, it was very, very busy. But it was cool to see all that stuff.
Yeah,
I need to watch all the movies that I own that I've never seen. 'Cause I own all of Miyazaki's movies on Blu-ray, and I've only seen one of them.
Yep. Well, I mean, I tried to watch as many as I could. I got to watch Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, Castle in the Sky. I watched Kiki's Delivery Service, which probably might be my favorite so far, outside of Spirited Away. And then My Neighbor Totoro. I just love seeing all that come to life. I went way too ham.
I've only seen Howl's Moving Castle.
I went way too ham in the freaking the store, mostly because I was buying stuff for other people. Because my friend Kim loves Kiki's Delivery Service, and she also happened to be in Japan at the same time that we were. I got to meet up with her later that day, or some other day. But we didn't get, actually later that day, but she didn't get to go to the Ghibli Museum, so I made sure to get her something. Also for Umu, because Umu's probably like the biggest Studio Ghibli fan on the face of the universe, so I made sure to get her a gift that I guess I won't give her until K-Con?
K-Con.
I don't know when next time I'm going to meet Umu is, but okay. Just because I know she'd probably want to go there one day. After that, we went to the robot restaurant, which most of these pictures are from Japan, which was... I'll let you explain it, because you enjoyed it the most.
No, I don't know. You didn't like it?
No, I just like... it's just like insane. I just wanted to go, because
it's definitely the most touristy thing we saw. But yeah, basically it's just like this, like, kind of like a... Well, it's not even really dinner, because they didn't really give us dinner. I thought they gave us dinner, but apparently they didn't.
You have to order the bento
we had to,
option.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of like a dinner show type thing. Like, I described it to Jacob as it's like Japanese medieval times almost.
It really
where
is.
it's just like this live show. And then like there's like drinks and snacks or whatever. But yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, it's just this insanely over the top like live show with like a bunch of animatronic like things and just people with like crazy stage costumes just doing different stuff. So like, I mean, it was split up into 4 parts.
Yeah.
And the first part was kind of like a kabuki theater like musical type thing. Where there was like 2 groups. And they were doing like a drum.
Before we even get into that, I just remembered. Just walking into the building. Remember, like the...
Oh, yeah.
There's this dude in like a robot costume freaking playing like the piano. And like just like the lobby itself was crazy. The outside was crazy. Like, it's literally just... Because this is in the heart of Shinjuku, so it's like Shinjuku is just like a weird as fuck place in general. And it's literally just like... There's like this giant colorful sign that says a robot restaurant. Like before even getting in there, there was a lot of... It's all foreigners that went there. It's like there's no one...
Yeah, it's a very touristy thing. It's not like it's very much a show made for tourists. But yeah, like the first part was like this like drum show, like kabuki theater type thing, where there's like a group of people dressed up as like demons and a group dressed up as like monks, and they kind of just did like a choreography like fight show thing to drum, and then there was a break, and then the next part was basically Power Rangers, where it was like futuristic robot people with like dinosaur mechs and like miniguns and ridiculous stuff fighting like god people with like animal on giant animals.
I don't even know how to explain that one.
Yeah,
it was insane though.
Basically, like the story they were saying was like robots took over the earth, and like then like there was one part of the earth that was like sacred and protected by the gods, and basically it was like so like the robots were just people with like dinosaur mechs and machine guns and stuff, and then there was the gods were like people that were riding like giant animals.
Freaking Kung Fu
like
Panda or whatever.
Yeah, there was a panda. Yeah, it was and like it was animals, and
one of the freaking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out with a freaking gat and just shoots one of the shoots up the robots, and then Mothra comes out. Like basically all of this is just like copyrighted material, which I don't think I can get away with, but it was just craziness. Regardless.
So yeah, that was definitely the most ridiculous one. Then the next part was basically just a rave, where they did like a laser show,
and they
which was pretty cool.
They were dressed up as Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, there was a dude dressed up as Darth Maul. That was weird, and they played the Imperial March, which was weird. But yeah, and then the last part was basically just like an idol show almost, where they like sang a couple theme songs.
Yeah, like they showed their names. But yeah, they were showing their names.
Yeah, they showed all the names of like the performers. And they played Boom Boom, or was it no? They played Bam, and they played I Want You Back, the Twice version.
Yeah, they played a lot of K-pop.
So they played some K-pop, and then they had like a theme song that they sang or whatever. So yeah, it was just this weird, ridiculous
the whole
stage
time.
show.
It's basically like, think of it as like a parade, but going around this tiny like basement thing, and like the parade floats are just crazy. It's basically like, think of like Carnival. Think of like Carnival in like Brazil. Yeah, just like 10 times weirder.
Yeah, just like, Japanese.
Oh my god! Like I don't even know how to begin to explain it, but
yeah.
That's a lifetime experience right there. I'm never gonna forget. I'm never gonna forget that.
That was a weird one, but it was worth it.
Oh man,
I'm glad we went, because I know a lot of people say to go, like, if you go to Japan to check that out. So I'm glad we did.
Yeah, definitely. And just being in Shinjuku as well. Just we didn't have much of a chance to look around the rest of Shinjuku, unfortunately, because we
went to an arcade for a little bit beforehand, but just like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's where like Jacob got to play this basically like huge mech, freaking like basically like a Gundam game made by like Square Enix. That sort of thing.
But like you're in like the cockpit, you have like 2 joysticks, and there's like a touch screen to your right, and
super crazy stuff. Or like most of like the arcade was just like a lot of rhythm games, and people were just like going godlike on all the rhythm games and everything. It was insane. Just like basically whatever your imagination of Japanese arcades are, it's like it's reality. You guys got to play like this weird like actual like 3D Pong type game where it was like you're actually
we played that was interesting. It was literally, it was like actual
objects,
Pong, like actual objects, like we were actually moving a physical paddle, and then there was a physical ball that moved between, or like a little square. It was interesting. So then what do we do the rest of that day?
You guys just slept. I went to...
you went and met up with Kim, that's right.
Yeah, I met up with my friend Kim.
And we just crashed.
I was walking around... I was walking around Shibuya. I took so many pictures at the Shibuya crossing. Again, you have to, if you ever go back, you have to go. Like, I think Jacob went, but it's madness. Yeah, like literally, like no one's following the lines. There's like hundreds of people, like lights everywhere. It's really cool to see like we've seen this building or like this area so many times in like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, The World Ends With You, like a bunch like Persona 5, just like seeing like the like Jimaru-Q, like the 109 Shibuya 109 building, just like seeing it. It's a lot smaller. Like the whole area is a lot smaller than I initially like expected, because like all the pictures make it seem like so huge, but like Ichimaru-Q is like the building itself is like pretty small, and the crossing itself is pretty small too. Like it's not as huge as you sort of make it yourself to believe it is, but it's just super busy. And I mean, Shibuya is kind of just like the downtown area. Like there was a lot of like it was a Saturday night, so obviously a lot of young people out. I think I saw a guy throw up at one time, and it was just like 10 o'clock at night, so I guess he had too much to drink. It's just mostly just young people like my age going around, dressed very nicely. I tried to dress nice so I'd blend in, but it was cool. And also just getting to meet up with my friend Kim. Like she's a friend from college. I've mentioned her a lot on the show, but yeah, it just so happened that we ended up being in Japan at the same time, so we just I just popped in to like near her like hotel, said hi. We went to like a konbini and got food, walked around a bit, but it was pretty cool to run into my friend like that in a completely different country. So that was a pretty interesting experience. So that's Saturday. Didn't do much else, I guess, other than that. But Sunday is the big day. We'll get to the Sasshi concert afterwards, but you didn't do anything though, because you just slept, because you had pretty bad sleeping experience. So it was just Jacob and I going around Akihabara. So Yeah, going around Akihabara, I was specifically looking for stuff for like my family or just like my friends. So we went to Animate in Akihabara, which is like a big like anime store. The one thing I didn't realize about most of the stores there is that their selection isn't as extensive as you'd think it'd be. It's mostly just whatever the literal current anime is right now. That's what they're selling like the most of.
Like the most popular thing.
Yeah, the most popular and stuff that's currently airing on TV. Like they're really just like you weren't finding any like Haruhi or like any like older stuff like you weren't really able to find. They're really because that's how fast like the anime sort of industry moves. That where basically they want to sell stuff from the current seasons and everything. So that's what most of it was. I think Jacob bought the first volume of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Japanese, so he now owns it in English, Korean, and Japanese. So that's an interesting thing. I bought like keychains of like My Hero Academia for my friends and my cousin. Afterwards, we went to just like around video game stores. A lot of they were selling like random like they're selling like random like old video games like but like you could buy like old like freaking PS2s there. We went to the main other place we went to, just a picture just came up, was Radio Kaikan. It's like this famous, one of the most famous buildings in all of Akihabara. Specifically, if you watch the anime Steins Gate, it's where like this is basically the premise of the beginning of Steins Gate, like a giant like satellite crashes into the building, and then like that's like the most iconic imagery of Steins Gate. So I wanted to go there, but most of it's just like, it's literally just like all this like otaku stuff. Like the first floor was entirely, it was all like trading cards. Like there was like Yu-Gi-Oh cards everywhere and everything. I was shocked at how many like card shops there were, and selling like expensive cards too. Like there were some stores that sold Magic, but it was mostly like Card Fight Vanguard or Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's where we saw like a $350 freaking Blue Eyes White Dragon. In Radio Kaikan, I think that's where Jacob bought a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Gold. And basically that's all Jacob did, was just buy Game Boys.
Buy Game Boys and Pokemon stuff.
Yeah. And then we went around like the different shops. That's the store. That's where we went to one of the, I think, what was it called? Ami Ami. That's the store I found. That's a store I was able to find Danganronpa goods at. Surprising, because I looked everywhere and I asked, like, and they said they didn't carry Danganronpa because it's not that popular anymore, I guess. But Ami Ami had a tiny section of Danganronpa, so I got some stuff from my cousin. Most importantly, they had a whole area of just like model cars from Initial D, and I bought one of a Sil 80. A Sil 80 is like a Nissan Silvia mixed with like an SX 180 or whatever. It's like a combined version of the car. So I bought a model of that. It's like an actual model where you have to paint it and everything and put it together yourself. So I'll have to track down the paint. I've never done anything like that before.
Well, I found out I do have to paint my Zoids.
You have to paint your Zoids.
Like, they have the base coat or like base colors, but yeah, I do need to paint like.
It'll be a good project though, if you know how to do it. Or are you good with that kind of stuff or no?
I've never tried it, but it sucks because like it's something I've always thought about doing for like some of my, because like I like the Dark Souls board game, and it has like really detailed figurines for all the bosses, but they're not painted. But I feel like this is a wormhole I'm gonna fall into.
You're just gonna just paint figures.
If I end up painting the Zoids, I'm gonna have the paint, and then I'm gonna want to paint the Dark Souls figures. And it's like, it's gonna become a thing.
That's actually a thing I never realized was how big it was. Just like DIY model kits of just like Zoids or Gundams or cars.
Most Gundams are the big ones, obviously.
Yeah, just like there's entire like shelves of just Gunpla, like in every store essentially. It's insane just how much Gunpla there is. And I've seen Gunpla at like Comic-Con and everything, but I never realized just how popular of a thing it was.
Yeah.
Just because it's a time-consuming hobby, and like you have to get like all the paint and all that stuff, and like the finishing, and like you have to put it together. But I mean, I'm sure it'll turn out cool if I can dedicate the time to it. So just I guess before we go into like the Sasshi thing, just I guess a wrap up of our Japan trip just in general. So Nate, you can do it first.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool to be there. I've always wanted to go. Obviously, video games are like probably my only other thing that I'm more obsessed with than K-pop. And I don't talk about it a lot here, but yeah, video games are my number one like hobby and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to go to Japan. I think I'd want to go back. I think part of it sucked because like it was right after Korea, so a week in Korea where I was like just exhausted.
Yeah.
And then just not being able to sleep well on the mats and stuff. So I want to go back with more time and less of a packed schedule, just so I can have time to just like wander around and explore at like a slower pace, and then also get an Airbnb that actually has a bed. But yeah, it was also hard.
That's one thing we didn't touch on, just how expensive like hotels or Airbnbs are in Tokyo. Just Tokyo is way more expensive than Seoul is, just like en masse, just because like that Airbnb, the tiny place, was way more expensive than the one that you got in Korea.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. The Airbnb we got in Korea was like we were on the 20th floor, really nice view, like a really nice, it wasn't a huge apartment or anything, but it was just a really nice small like loft apartment, and it was only like $400 for a whole week. Like it was so cheap,
and it was like the one that I got was like $75 a night just for that.
Yeah.
Like that's the cheapest you can find, in all honesty, in Tokyo, just because it's so densely packed, or it's such a hot destination, especially around then being like around Golden Week. So there's going to be a lot of like people coming in. So yeah, that's the one thing.
And then the other thing, like it was definitely a lot harder to get around because, like you said, like I didn't know any Japanese. I can't read any hiragana or katakana or anything, so it was just a lot harder getting around. But yeah, I definitely want to go back with like some more time and less hectic of a schedule.
Mm-hmm. It's everything that I thought it'd be, in all honesty, just because I've been wanting to go there for the longest time, and I enjoyed every second of it. Enough to the point that I've already booked my flight back. I'm going back in October. I'm going for a full week this time, just so I have enough time to like see, because we were really only in Tokyo for like 3 days, and I hate myself for not being there longer, because I feel like we barely got to see Tokyo, let alone like there's so much more to Japan than just Tokyo. Like there's,
exactly.
Yeah, like we barely got to touch the surface of like Tokyo, let alone like going to like anywhere else. So when I go back in October, I want to go because like they have the bullet train, the Shinkansen, that can take you to like the other side of the country in like 2 hours. So I plan on taking a trip out to like Nagoya, and I want to see like other stuff, or just I want to go to Mount Fuji. I wanted to go to Mount Fuji so bad, just because I love like mountains and like hiking and that sort of thing. Also, there's Fuji-Q Highland, which is like a theme park near Mount Fuji, so I want to see that. But with this trip, definitely, I'm usually not one I usually just enjoy like staying at home and like not doing anything and just like like not exploring. Like, it's just kind of ironic considering I work in New York City, and I feel like so many people are just like, oh, why don't you go around New York City anymore? Because I'm just bored and tired from work all the time. So
Same.
Like I definitely got like bit by the travel bug going both to Korea and Japan, but I feel like especially Japan, like when I met up with Kim, like we were just randomly talking for a bit, and we were just like, I feel like we belong here to some degree. Like we both feel like we kind of want to move here one day, move there to Tokyo one day, just because I feel like it feels more like home to some degree, and I feel like I'd enjoy it a lot more than I enjoy. I guess I'm just kind of bored and tired of how New York City is to some degree. But that's just further down the line. I mean, that's something I'm thinking long term. But I mean, I think I'm just impressed with how much I could survive in Japan with the limited Japanese knowledge I had. Like, I definitely want to learn more now. I'm definitely more incentivized to learn more, especially since I'm going back. But yeah, I'm surprised at how well I could survive with what I knew. And yeah, it was just I'm glad we decided to go to Japan as well and not just stay in Korea, because I think I might have liked Japan more than going to Korea, in all honesty, just because I feel like there was so much I wanted to see and do. Again, that's why I wanted to go back. So definitely,
yeah, and
go ahead.
Good. Oh, I was just saying, like, for me, yeah, it's definitely opposite, but I definitely want to go back to Japan too. It's just like you said, like, for me, Korea feels like home, but that's because I lived there and it was home. It just feels familiar, and it's somewhere I regret not being able to go live, because I will kind of wish I did go teach English or something at some point, but at this point I feel like it's a little too late. But yeah, I want to go to Korea, or I want to go to Japan again for sure.
I'd consider dropping everything and maybe. I mean, in terms of my career as a shoe designer, there's a lot of companies over in Japan, and then maybe that could be a future career path for me, just working over there in Tokyo. And I'm sure there's probably a demand for like designers that come from the United States over there as well. So yeah, I guess that wraps up the Japan portion of the trip. If there's anything that you thought was interesting that you wanted to comment on, or any questions or any advice you'd have for us on when we go back, definitely let us know in the comments.
Okay, so we'll move on to topic 4, which is just going to be the HKT48 concert. So Andrew can take it away.
So yeah, on our last full day in Tokyo, we went to see HKT48's concert. Specifically, it is Sasshi Hararino, aka Sasshi. It was her graduation concert. So this is a J-pop topic, so for you K-pop fans out there, which is everyone, I'll try to do my best to sort of explain it. And also for people that are just stumbling upon this topic and are primarily AKB fans or HKT fans, again, just our position seeing this concert was we are primarily K-pop fans that have never seen a live event from AKB. This is our first ever like APK or 48 group live event ever. So that was we picked one hell of a concert to go to, freaking Sasshi's graduation concert. So
yeah.
That's sort of the lens that we're seeing this through. So, to sort of give background, it was at Sasshi is one of the basically founding members of AKB48. She was like one of the faces of AKB48. She got moved to HKT48 after a dating scandal sort of situation, but she ended up becoming sort of like the mother figure of HKT48 and was influential in people like Nako and Sakura's from IZ*ONE, their careers or their sort of upbringing in HKT48. And so after 11 years, I think she announced her retirement. So they had her graduation concert at Yokohama Stadium in Yokohama, which is just like an hour outside of Tokyo. They had it because HKT is based out of like Fukuoka, which is like basically like as far west as you can get with Japan. So like the only reason they had it here they had it in Yokohama was because the day before Sasshi's graduation concert, they had like a whole festival sort of thing. I think that's where Kojima Mako from who was on Produce 48, she had a graduation concert there as well. So yeah, it just so happened that the concert was or they had an event already lined up, so they just decided to add on the graduation concert afterwards. So yeah, that being said, again, this is our first experience going to any HKT or AKB48 event. So getting the tickets itself was just an ordeal because you have to be a member of like the AKB, you have to be a member of like the fan club, or like you have to like do all this sort of stuff just to get the tickets, because AKB48 or the 48 groups have a dedicated fan base, and you can't just buy tickets. It has to be a lottery. So I had to put ourselves into a lottery, and thank God we ended up getting the tickets. Because I really wanted to go, because I know how important this concert would be, and just to see, it would have been amazing. So we get there. It takes about an hour to get there by train. Yokohama Stadium is like a baseball stadium. It's where the DENA Bay Stars of the Nippon Baseball League play. Basically like the baseball team there. So it was pretty cool. Have you you've never been to a stadium K-pop or J-pop concert, correct?
Well,
like of that
in
magnitude?
Korea I did.
Oh wait.
Not in Korea. I went to Incheon
Oh, that was at
concert.
that was at a stadium.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't remember exactly what the venue was, but it was ginormous. It was
basically, so something like that. I've never been to a concert like that in terms of like J-pop or K-pop, so it was an interesting experience. So like getting into the actual the seats are definitely not made for Americans. Like poor Nate had to just like squish in.
Yeah, but that's even at the U.S. Like
I guess
seating in general at like stadiums and stuff are always tiny.
One thing I did not expect was I guess I didn't realize or how big it would be was just the sheer amount of light sticks that were everywhere, and like literally everyone had a light stick essentially, and they for the concert they changed the colors and everything, and there's fan chants for almost every song essentially. I think that's one interesting aspect of just going to a J-pop concert for the first time, or not for the first time. I mean, I've been to Perfume concerts, but going to a HKT48 concert for the first time, just how interactive everything is like there's always some type of crowd interaction going on, whether it's just like talking or whether it's the actual performances. So for you, not knowing as much about HKT48 or the 48 group, how was the experience for you just in general?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun to see. It was, like you said, it was cool to see. Like, I mean, K-pop concerts is always like when you go to like group specific ones, there's tons of light sticks and it's cool to see them all synchronized. But it was cool to see that here too. One thing that stood out to me that was interesting though is they not only do they have fan chants, but they have like light stick like actions that they do sometimes.
Yeah, that's a normal like, thing. Like that's
which
called,
is like
that's called like otage, or like the type of like you do like hi, and then you do like this.
Yeah, they do the like dip up thing during the slow parts and stuff.
You always do that
like,
at J-pop concerts. Yeah, that's a pretty normal thing. Yeah,
so that was interesting to see.
It's kind of you kind of get caught off guard the first time you see it, but yeah, that's pretty normal. I guess another just sort of thing that that caught me off guard a bit was how diverse the crowd was, because usually like it's stereotypical that most people that are into like idol groups, it's just like old men, like, and there are a lot of like older like guys, but it was pretty diverse in terms of like age groups and gender. Like there was a lot of female fans, which I was shocked. Like the person sitting next to us was a girl. See, I was shocked. Or some of them were like younger kids too, like, which is surprising. Again, you really only think of like idol fans as just like teenage boys or teenage girls when it comes to K-pop, but it was a lot more diverse than I initially expected.
Except for race, I was like the only white guy in that entire stadium.
No, I saw one. Because again, like it's.
Did you? I didn't see any other foreigners.
Maybe they're like living there or whatever. Because I mean, like yeah, that's the thing. It's not too many expats. I'm sure are into HKT48 or AKB48.
It was just funny because we're used to like K-pop concerts. There's usually a lot more foreigners, like at least nowadays.
Yeah.
Like even the one that I went to in Seoul, like there were foreigners. Where I couldn't see any.
Yeah, that's the thing, because J-pop isn't as internationally.
Yeah, exactly.
The international appeal of J-pop isn't as much as K-pop, so yeah, it's not gonna. You're not gonna see as many people like come. We're probably I wouldn't be surprised if we're one of the few foreigners that actually kind of knew what was going on. Like because again, it's their market's strictly essentially. It's just Japan, like, and us knowing a bit of it because of Produce 48 and K-pop. So that's like the extent of their reach. So again, it's mostly just like the hardcore fans that went. For the actual songs, I mean, I knew most of it, or I knew some of it because I tried to do as much research on HKT48 and Sasshii's specific, whatever Sasshii was in, specifically, beforehand. So, like, I think the one thing I do appreciate about J-pop concerts, it's all live vocals. Like, because usually for K-pop concerts, they have to do the pre-record. Even for like big concerts, they always it's never live vocals. But yeah, that's one thing that J-pop they insist on doing. It's always some type of live vocal, or specifically with the 48 groups. So that was nice. Also, just the sheer amount of like when we went in, we saw like there was a huge stage, and they needed all of that stage because there was like, because again, we're talking about HKT48 and a bunch of like other guests, so there's probably like at least 50 or 60 people all on stage at the same time, and there wasn't a bad seat in the house really, because like there was like, here, I'll pause it on this picture, like the stage is like, there's a stage in the front, and then it's like a cross-shaped thing in the middle where like the baseball like field would be, just so they could have different people go onto different areas. So yeah, there really was no bad seats, which is nice because we weren't that like we weren't that close to the stage or anything, but we could still like sort of comprehend what was going on. Did you have any favorite songs of what you could remember?
I mean, honestly, I can't remember. I mean, Fortune Cookie was
Fortune Cookie,
like one of the only songs I actually knew. Actually, that was the only song I knew, because they didn't do like heavy rotation or anything, so because I only know a few 48 group songs, so obviously that was a standout, and that was like the ending song or whatever, which we kind of expected that would be something they would end on because it's their most famous song or whatever. The Melon song, because I was like, what are they like? I was like, melon okay, listening to the song, all the light sticks turned green, and they're just repeating the words of melon juice, and I'm like, are they singing about melon juice? I'm like, yeah, they're singing about melon juice. So that was definitely one of them.
And I lost Nate.
Oh, you lost me again?
Yeah, I lost you again. Anyway, we're talking about melon juice.
Yeah, that was just like, I was just like, are they singing about melon juice? Yep, they're singing about melon juice. That definitely stood out.
What would you say your favorite part of the concert would be?
I don't know. I mean, I think the ending, obviously, just because I knew the song and stuff. But no, I thought it was a really good concert. I liked that they switched up like who was on stage and stuff a lot. They brought in a lot of guests. Like, it was funny because every time they like someone new showed up, and then they showed them on the screen and their name showed up, like everyone freaked out. I was like, well, they must be a special guest or something, like one of the, and like Jurina showed up, like she was like one of the only people I knew.
A bunch of it wasn't just HKT48 members that were there. They had it because obviously Sasshi had her career spanning like years and years, and being a part of two groups, she's gonna have a lot of guests show up. So like Junina's from NMB48 or SK48. I think Miyazaki Miho showed up. Yukirin showed up. Mayuyu is someone that's retired or like graduated already, and she showed up for this concert. That's how important Sasshi is to all of 48 group, where everyone thinks of her as like a mother figure for of the group, and everyone looks up to Sasshi, and specifically with people like Sakura and Nako, who unfortunately weren't able to attend the concert. Again, Nako wouldn't have joined HKT48 if Sasshi didn't like push her to do it. And again, like Sakura, like that's her mother figure and everything. So yeah, it's cool to see just like everyone just sort of participate in the concert just because of how important Sasshi is to the group as a whole. Like she's one of like the ones that she spoke out against, like again, like that whole like NGT48 situation with Yamaguchi Maho sort of thing. She's like one of the ones like speaking out against it like brazenly. Like usually they try to keep them quiet about these sort of scandals, but she's the one that's sort of speaking out on behalf of the other members that can't, because basically Sashi's untouchable at this point. Like she's like if they ever did anything to like if AKS ever did anything to Sasshi, the fans would just be outraged, like because she carries that much weight around the group and the company and everything. So I guess my favorite parts would be my favorite moments would be because I like the song they did the last single with Sasshi as for AKB48. They did Jiwaru Days a couple of times. They did the last HKT48 single was Ishi, so I like that one. Oh, and when Jordina and the rest of them came out, they did Love Trip, which is a great single. What else?
Was that the Halloween one?
No, that's Halloween Night.
Oh, okay.
Love Trip was a different one. They did or Sasshi did Namaiki Kiss with Tanaka Miku. So Tanaka Miku is like Yabuki Nako's partner in crime. And since Nako couldn't be there at the concert, because that's their coupling song, that's like the song like they did as a group, Nako and Miku, they did Namaiki Kiss together. So it was cool, if, I guess, to just see, again, like Sasshi was a big influence on Nako and Miku as well. So to see them do that, since Nako couldn't be there, the Eyes One members did show up in some capacity on the screen. Like they did, like Sakura kind of showed up like a ghost on the screen. Yeah, the effects are really bad. They're like really weird. There's a part where she did like the backing vocals, and then she gave her message to Sasshi saying like, "Oh, you're my favorite senpai." And like she apologized for not being able to be there, because Eyes One had a concert, like a big like concert the day before in Korea, so I don't think they could have like scheduled something out that quickly. Granted, Nako was in Tokyo that same day, which was weird. Like because obviously they were done with promotions for Violetta, and the Japanese line, I think they went back for Golden Week to spend with her family. So Nako posted that she was at a shrine and everything. So, and Nako ended up only having a message as well, just for Sasshi as well. So it was kind of sad that they couldn't be there in person. But again, we were speculating that with Nako in Tokyo, like she was probably there. She was probably in the building. Like there's no way she wasn't in the building. She just couldn't show up on stage. Yeah, but it just kind of sucks that they couldn't at least, like, they didn't have to perform with them, but at least like go up on stage and like leave a message for the, like, in person, for like talk about them. I felt like would have been nice.
Yeah,
because again, it's just being members of HKT48 and Sasshi being such an influential person, it just kind of sucks that they didn't have a chance to properly say goodbye to her. And I feel like it sucks, and also because the stupid K netizens are going to be like, oh, why are they performing, or why are they at an HKT48 concert? They're supposed to be dedicated to Eyes One and nothing else. Like, I know those stupid fans are going to complain, but it's something that spreads. It's something that goes beyond the importance of Eyes One, even, because this is the group that they were in. It's the group that they've been in for like 5 years now, or like 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. So it's something that's way more important to them than it is to just even Eyes One. So, just in general, I think I really liked the entire concert, especially towards the end. I kind of started losing it when freaking everyone, Judy didn't cry, but when all of the HKT48 members started crying, when they were saying their goodbyes to Sasshi, and when Sasshi lost it at one point when she was singing one of her solo songs, or one of the ballad songs, I was just like, oh no. Oh, it was sad. And you don't have to know the lyrics. You don't have to speak Japanese to know how much the group loves Sasshi. Like it showed on stage immediately. So you could tell how much they loved and cared about her, which is why I'm glad that they gave her this proper goodbye. Despite all the controversy she had in the prior years, and despite, I guess, just like the group sort of being, I guess, in turmoil, I guess, with who's going to be the face of the group now that people like Sasshi are leaving. I'm glad they gave her she got the goodbye she definitely deserved, and I'm really happy, and I hope that she kind of stays involved and maybe like helps guide the future members in terms of like how they'll manage the theater, or how they'll do like promotions and everything. So again, as kind of an outsider looking in, I guess it was just a really interesting experience for us, and just to see how much all the fans cared about her, how much the members cared about Sasshi, and just to see like this is probably one of my favorite pictures, like the panorama shot of like all the light sticks like lit up in yellow and everything, and it's definitely a concert I'm never gonna forget for the rest of my life. It was insane. So, closing thoughts for you?
Yeah, it was really cool to see. It like you said, you could like tell you could feel like the emotion and stuff, even if you, like, for me, not speaking the language or really knowing the lyrics or the songs or anything. Like, you could still tell. And it was cool to see. It's definitely a special concert to be at, because it's not really like something that happens that often, where a member that like important like graduates. So.
Yeah, it's something that it's something you don't get in K-pop, because you don't really get K-pop, you don't really get proper goodbyes because usually it's just the group disbands and then that's it.
Yeah, they sometimes they'll do like a goodbye single or whatever, but or like I mean IOI had like their concert and stuff. Like every once in a while they'll do like a goodbye concert, but most groups kind of just disband and go their own ways. Like you don't get a goodbye Wonder Girls concert or a Sistar or 2NE1. Like they didn't have like special goodbye concert.
Yeah, I think that's what makes these more memorable.
It's
because,
rare that happens.
Yeah, it's what makes the graduation thing, as annoying as the graduation concept is. It's nice that you give the fans are allowed a proper goodbye and the artists are allowed a proper goodbye to the fans. It's not like it doesn't feel so sudden and like hurtful the same in the way that like K-pop disbandments are. Like it feels proper in this sort of way, and it's something I kind of wish we had in K-pop, where you had a last chance to say goodbye or thank the artists for everything that they've done for the past couple of years. And it's something that's pretty much exclusive to 48 Group in terms of how they do graduation concerts and everything. So, I guess just to close it out, I mean, I enjoyed it. One last thing. I don't know if the term, because you don't say bias when it comes to like J-pop or AKB48, you say oshi. So I think I'm getting oshi wrecked by Tanaka Miku because she was like kind of like one of the main stars of the whole show and everything. I'm just like, oh my god, I love Tanaka Miku so much. She's probably my new HKT48 oshi, just because she's kind of like the heir apparent to some degrees with I guess being one of the faces of HKT48 and of AKB48 in general, because her and Nako were like top 10 of like the last Sosenkyo like election and everything. So with Nako and Sakura and like everyone else out of the picture, like Tanaka Miku has to carry a lot on her like tiny shoulders. So I hope that she's able to do it. And I definitely want to go back to another event. I want to go back to the theater. I want to see if I can see a theater event for AKB48 or any of the other groups.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, just an interesting. That's the thing, because these big concerts they don't happen all that often. Most of your interaction with the 48 groups is through like handshake events or the theater concerts, which is a lot more intimate of an experience. So I'm gonna try to get a ticket for that. Hopefully I can line it up for when I go back to Japan in October. But yeah, I'm really glad that we got to do this, because again, it's something that we'll be able to say for the rest of our lives. We saw Sasshi's graduation concert, and that's like one of the most important things that, like, probably one of the most important events in AKB48 history or 48 group history, and we got to bear witness to it, and like not even not even 48 talk. Yeah, so we have such an interesting experience, I guess. So hopefully it's one that like the 48 group fans really enjoyed. So if you're a fan, definitely, I guess, if you want to like comment on our experience, definitely let us know in the comments. If there's anything that you want to let us know about in terms of just like etiquette or just like other things that we should check out with AKB48 or HKT48, or what I should do AKB48 related when I go back to Japan, definitely let us know in the comments. We didn't have a chance to go to the cafe, because we saw the AKB48 cafe when we were in Akihabara, but I didn't have a chance to go in, so that's probably on my docket for the next time we go around.
So yeah, that's it for episode 119. Like I said at the beginning, if you liked it, subscribe, share, follow us on Twitter, review us on iTunes, check out our Discord if you want to hang out with us and hang out with our small but dedicated community. There's a lot of people. There's not a lot. There's probably like 20 people that are hanging out regularly in our Discord. And we do some fun stuff like song ratings and other random things like that, contests and stuff. So check that out. And if you have any comments or questions, comment on our YouTube videos or tweet us, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. That's it.
Yeah, we really don't have any events other than just produce for X101 stuff, and then KCON's obviously coming up in July, but we really don't have anything else after that or until then. So it's mostly just going to be trying to get back into the swing of things of running the show, just trying to get back into it. Like we ended up having to skip releases this month, but I mean, we covered pretty much everything that was important like twice. So we'll try to get back into the swing of things. Hopefully we can get more Jacob on the shows more again. Now that hopefully he's more settled in Korea, but
yeah, I mean, worst case, he's going to be back in a couple months anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be back in a couple months.
Won't be that many episodes before he's
on regularly.
Before he's back in normal.
Yeah. Man, I miss Korea and Japan in all honesty. Like I've just had the FOMO for the past, like going back to like work. I'm just like, fuck, all I want to do is just like go get like food.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad it's something that we were planning for years, and I'm glad we finally got to do it in all honesty. I wouldn't have done it with anyone else except you guys. So
yeah.
It's a good team building experience.
It was cool. The only bad part about it is jet lag.
Jet lag. Oh God, I woke up at 6 in the morning today.
On Friday, I took 2 naps after work. I slept. It took like an hour and a half nap. Woke up, ate dinner, and fell back to sleep again.
Yeah, no, basically, I sleep at like 7 o'clock now, and I wake up at like 12. Exactly. Take melatonin so I can go back to sleep. Like, it's gonna be a while to fix this, but I mean,
I think I'm starting to get there. I actually was able to sleep in a little bit today. I slept until like 6:30 today, which for me is sleeping in even during the week, like normal. Even normal, like normally I wake up around 6:30. So I think I'm finally I think it's because yesterday I played Magic, so I wasn't able to take a nap in the middle of the day and ruin my sleep schedule. So I was busy. But yeah. Thanks for checking us out. I hope you enjoyed it, and goodbye.
Stay jet lagged.
Stay throbbingly jet lagged.
Yep, that's gonna be me for the next week.
They discovered it like sometime after the Korean War.
They discovered it in the 70s.
Yeah, the 70s. So that's like almost
20 years after the war.
Well, one of them was in the 90s.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like they keep just like they think there might be even more of them through there, but basically North Korea basically dug these tunnels under like 70 meters under